Are you ready? This is the Xfinity 500, and there will be two drivers locked into the championship four at Martinsville. Let's go! Gibbs got a bit squirrely off the line. William Byron leads them into turns 1 and 2 with his teammate right behind. Drag race between Larson and Gibbs down into 3. Larson desperately wants to get that position.
Look at the battle mid-pack trying to get to bottom of the racetrack. Some very aggressive moves.
Hamlin ahead of Logano. Here comes Elliott in the red number 9 this week. Keep an eye out for that. He's alongside the 41 of Cole Custer.
Gibbs taking a look. Kyle Larson not falling for it. His first 5 cars there. You have exactly what they want. Single file.
Cole Custer, Chase Elliott, door to door. With thanks to Bass Pro Shops. Let's ride with the most recent race winner. Here's Briscoe.
Still outside, now you into 34. Nope. Still outside. Still outside. One off to the 71 behind here. Still outside.
What do you see that you like early on, Steve?
I like the patience up front and the patience for Briscoe right here. You see Reddick on the outside in this 45. There's spots to be gained on the outside, but big conversation. Jeff and I talked about it in pre-race. Are these new left side Goodyear tires? They're exactly what the drivers have asked for. Lots of grip, lots of speed, but a short lifespan. And the harder you push them, the shorter that lifespan is. So drivers have to be cautiously aggressive, if you can put those two together.
Briscoe with Reddick on his outside in the 45. McDowell right behind. He's trying to go with his teammate Christopher Bell. Remember last week in Talladega, Briscoe was helped home by a teammate in Ty Gibbs, who still runs 3rd, just ahead of his teammate Denny Hamlin.
Reddick still stuck on the outside right here. Steve did a great job of explaining how you have to manage these tires a little bit, but Reddick has no choice. He has got to stay in the gas here, trying to find himself back to the bottom. There's a little bit of a gap to the 34 of Todd Gilliland. Let's see if he lifts right here. Tries to take that gap. He doesn't. Now Todd's going to drive up there to the back of the 71 of McDowell. Trying to give Reddick nowhere to go.
Unchanged up front. Still Byron, Larson, Gibbs, Hamlin, Logano, top 5. Todd Gilliland in that bright green 34. Coming off an outstanding result a week ago as Chastain gets roughed up a little bit.
He does.
Chastain in the 48 pushed and shoved, and Bowman got by. And I think Chastain thought SVG was going to let him in. I like that SVG kind of fights for himself. This is part of that learning curve on the ovals. He's settled in. That's that 88 car. The 1 of Chastain behind, right behind the 1. You see the 3 of Austin Dillon. I'm waiting to see how that 3 runs, Jeff. So good at Richmond on a tire that also lost a lot of grip. We'll see if that translates here to the paperclip.
Yeah, I saw him this morning, actually just before the race, and I said, I feel like this tire falls in your favor. And he says, I'm excited. Let's go see what we can make happen. Good start of this race for this 22 team. Let's see where it goes as this run goes. They struggled in practice yesterday. Didn't really think they had the speed, but a really good start for them.
Hunt Brothers Pizza on board with Joey Logano. He said yesterday, this is going to be a heavyweight bout. It's going to be like a dogfight worth watching. And so far, he's got a start worth watching as he starts to work on Hamlin. Down into turn 3.
Great move by Joey Logano. He moved up the racetrack in the middle of the corner. That allowed him to leave lower than the 11 car to make that pass. He was able to do it, though, because no one was right behind him. He gave the middle up, ran up the racetrack, was able to turn down. If somebody was behind him, he couldn't do that because they would have driven underneath him.
How hard do you have to work here as a driver?
Very. It is at a very aggressive racetrack. However, you see this battle right here. Ty Gibbs putting a lot of pressure on Larson. However, you do need to be a little bit cautious, as Steve described with this left rear tire, running too hard early you can pay a big price.
Let's talk more about the man running in second place, the HendrickCars.com Chevy Kyle Larson. Here's Parker.
Right, Lee, and actually, Jeff, to your point on the left side tire, that's a conversation amongst many of these teams. When we talked to Kyle Larson after practice yesterday, he remarked how he felt like he went too hard too early in that practice session, hurt those tires too early. And so today, about this first run, I talked to his crew chief, Cliff Daniels. I said, how do you know what's the right pace? He said, that's up to Kyle to feel out and figure out. We've looked at the data. We think we understand what he should be doing. But I think a lot of these teams, as we're 16, now 17 laps in, are just assessing what is the correct pace. And that's exactly what Kyle Larson's doing, that 5 car right now.
Talking about progress, how about Daniel Suarez for Trackhouse Racing in his second to last drive for that organization? He was announced this week as heading to Spire Motorsports next year. Daniel's come from 30th to 20th. What a start.
Yeah, good move forward. We'll talk about how hard it is to pass. Daniel finding a way to do it.
Take a look at this.
Chase Elliott doing the same thing I talked about Joey Logano doing. Ran up the racetrack. Watch this. Entry is high, gets checked up, gets pointed, turns, and then passes the 11. Denny Hamlin been passed twice here in the last few laps. You wonder if he's saving that tire just a little bit.
Well, he said after practice that this was like 15 years ago, and then he quipped that not a lot of guys were around 15 years ago. So we'll see if they have the skill set that Denny thinks it's going to take to run good today. The driver in front of him, driver 9, Kim, I think he has that skill set to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely has that skill set. Already broken into the top 5 after starting 8th. And crew chief Alan Gustafson, very complimentary of his driver here at Martinsville. He said the track suits what Chase does. That means not overdriving the car. And once he gets in a rhythm, he does not abuse his tire. He stays in it. He's very methodical, and that will pay off today. Again, 5th right now for Chase Elliott.
All right, another driver trying to lock himself into the championship for multi-time race winner here in Martinsville, Ryan Blaney. For Blaney fans, he's up 5 positions. Here he is here in that discount tire Ford. And remember this, 20 laps into this race, he's 89 points below the cut line in a must-win situation. We'll update that when we come back. This is the Xfinity 500 from Martinsville Speedway here in Virginia, live on NBC, and we're under caution. Under caution for the first time today.
It's going to be a very interesting timing for the crew chiefs. Let's see exactly what happened. Oh. Around goes the 99 of Suarez. I think he gets straightened back up right there, but it looked like he was getting spun around off the nose of the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Zane Smith in the 38 also kind of involved, shooting to the bottom over that curbing. It's like a wreck that wrecked and then unwrecked, if you could do that. Not sure that's possible, but somehow Suarez pulled it off.
Back in 20th position, just 3 wide into these corners is very difficult to pull off.
So what I was saying, it's a very interesting time, 29 laps complete. Yesterday, we've talked about how much the cars lose grip and slow down. Today, I think between the weather and the drivers managing it, they really haven't slowed down much at all. I imagine most of the field is going to want to pit here, but does somebody in the back, say a Ryan Blaney, does somebody do something different to try to flip this and gain some track position, or does everyone follow the leader down pit road? We'll just have to see as Byron, Larson, Elliott, 3 Hendrick cars lead the field of pit road, Kim.
Yeah, and for Chase Elliott, he said that car's turning pretty well in traffic. No major adjustments expected. You see top left, they will take fresh tires, though. Parker.
And for his teammate Kyle Larson, he came on the radio and said, pretty good. His crew chief Cliff Daniels said, your pace was excellent. Keep it up. Just 4 tires for him. Dave.
Christopher Bell gives up 10th position. He said the car was starting to go a little bit free. Took off okay, just a little migration, Marty.
William Byron has pit stall number 1. His only comment to Rudy Fugle is, quote, I'm just managing, happy with the handling on the 24 car and trying to take it easy on those Goodyear tires. We'll see if the 2014 can so hold serve here on pit road. They will not go drag race there with Michael McDowell, who won it, Lee.
I hear you asking at home, and you too, Marty, did anybody stay out? Jeff, the answer is?
No, the entire field pitted.
The whole field came down pit road, and Michael McDowell, Marty, to answer your question, he won the race off. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Kubota, your compact equipment provider. And by Progressive, save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Really great crowd in attendance here today in Martinsville watching this race to a championship for Kim Coon. Tell us more about one guy trying to get in there.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney started 31st, so one of the goals was to get past as many cars as possible to start the race because the leaders find the tail end very quickly. He's moved his way up to the 23rd position. Ryan came down during that stop, said rolling center good, drive off is better than most around me. I don't know what to ask for, so no major changes. They did tell Ryan to manage his tires once it goes green. They are trying to make it to the end of the stage on this set of tires.
97 to go, 97 laps to go in this first stage. Stevie, what got your attention during that first race stop?
Well, that red 9 of Chase Elliott came in third. Watch this, right side looks good, and when everybody transitions to the left, the first time I watched this, everything looks fine, and then I'm like, wait, somebody's missing. Where did the tire changer go? And he comes back into frame. So, crack crew down at tape. We do a little cheat. We go to the roof of the 9, and check this out. Tire changer leaves, and this tire, we talk about the banking, it rolls forward, trying to get away. If that gets to the middle of the 51's pit box, that is a penalty for the 9. So a really, really nice job by that tire changer. You see the 20 doing a nice job managing traffic. So this is Martinsville Pit Road. Chaos will happen. How do you manage? I give that 9, even though they lost. That's A+ work, making sure it wasn't a penalty. 2-tire change for Michael McDowell. That's what got the 71 in the lead, alongside William Byron. We're back to it here in the Xfinity 500. Kyle Larson in the 5. Ty Gibbs on the outside. Hanlon and Logano. They're stuck together like glue all of this first stage. Hamlin got one back on Logano right before the caution came out. William Byron up the track a little in that second groove. Goes around Michael McDowell quite effectively. Yeah, McDowell was running 13th before he chose to change only 2 tires. An aggressive call, and if we get another 20-lap run, I think it'll work out for him. But you heard Kim say these teams are going to try to go nearly 100 laps. Now, if he has to do that on those left side tires, this could be a really big penalty for the 71. But look, I understand you're to that point in the year. Travis Peterson says, I'm going to gamble, I'm going to try something. Maybe if it doesn't work now, I'll learn something for later in the race. You saw McDowell down the front straightaway. He tried to block Larson. Larson's like, nope, it's my spot. I'm coming in there. And then look at the line of cars behind McDowell. He knows he's in trouble right now. Ty Gibbs is the next one. Check him off the list. Here comes Denny Hamlin. Hamlin lunges down into 3. And Chase Elliott's lining up for a shot as well. Napa on board shows us his view. No, Blaney up 9 spots already, up to 22nd. Dale Jarrett talked about that in the pre-race. He thought he would be able to recover. We look at all these playoff cars. There's Blaney, bottom of the screen. He was kind of really close to that mix with the 99 car when he got turned around. Didn't really have any contact, and here he is just, I guess methodical would be the term I would use if I'm coaching this 12 around. We're not going to gain 20 spots in 15 laps. We're going to do it lap by lap. Oh, at the front, Custer trying to get underneath the 71 of McDowell. Contact, now contact with Custer and Gilliland. 2 young drivers having a good start of this race. Now Gilliland is on the outside. Todd slapped the wall too on the exit of that previous turn when he was duking it out with Custer. Austin Cindric is immediately behind in that Dayglow Menards number 2, and Austin had a good opening phase of stage 1. He's side by side with Chase Briscoe. Custer in that 41 carrying the Texas A&M paint scheme, hoping to have that same magic that the team had yesterday, staying undefeated. Let's see what happens. So McDowell tries to block him. He does. Custer's like, no, I want this spot. Actually hits the curb with the left front tire. And then contact with Gilliland. That's just Martinsville. Yep. That's just simply how aggressive you have to be at this racetrack. Here comes Briscoe on the inside. Big move from Hocevar on the 77. He gets into the side, albeit gently, with Austin Cindric. Now he's working on, and Cindric repays him. Austin Cindric did not appreciate that from Carson Hocevar. It was a late dive that I don't think Austin appreciated. You always know people are going to drive underneath you, try to. I think Austin felt like it was a little bit of a late move. Meanwhile, up front, there's some breathing room for Hendrick Motorsports. William Byron, look at this. 3 wide into 3. This can't work. It's just never at Martinsville does 3 wide work. Ryan Preece gets all squirrely. That's affected Zane Smith. He lost a couple of positions as well. Blaney is on that low side. He's trying to clear all of this. Now Blaney 3 wide, but 3 wide bottom. I like that situation. As long as you don't drive over the curb with your left side, you should kind of survive the corner. He does.
Blaney's afraid about what's going to happen in front of him. I mean, it has been wild.
That's Bubba Wallace in the Xfinity 23. Ryan Preece in the Castrol 60 there. He was the one that got loosened up and was kind of fishtailing up the front stretch here in Martinsville.
Yeah, and kind of the dam up the stream of all of these cars is that 2-tire call for the 71. You see that there's a gap in front, but traffic behind. That tells me that he's holding this all up. Second pass for the 9 of Chase Elliott on the outside. He went around Denny Hamlin around the top. Now he's gone around the 54. Ty Gibbs as well using the top of the racetrack.
Look at that. Look at Chase Elliott. He's not even trying to run the bottom. 3 wide on the bottom screen again. I'm not sure where to watch for the wreck. It's got to come from somewhere. McDowell just getting shoved out of the way.
Joey Logano, Ty Gibbs. And Logano's able to get a good run off turn 4, get the advantage on the JGR Monster 54. Just looking at the 9 of Chase Elliott, Chase said it in countdown to green in pre-race, and Alan Gustafson said the same thing to me yesterday in the garage area. They are treating it, Steve, as a one-race championship, meaning here today, if we don't win, we're not going to the championship 4. We get to the championship 4, it's another one-race championship. Mindset is clear going in.
Yeah, and I think that's the way you have to do it, race by race, much like Ryan Blaney on the bottom of the screen. It's position by position. It's just such an exciting time of the year. This race always delivers, and the recipe we have this week really just points us in the right direction, from a great crowd to a great rules package with this tire, the weather. I'm ready for an old school Martinsville.
Good restart by Christopher Bell. He's picked up 5 spots, gotten up to 7th place. Started 12th. Talked to him this morning. He did not like his car in practice yesterday. He said, I'm not real sure if I'm not doing what I need to be doing, or if the car isn't like it needs to be. Felt like it didn't turn the way he was looking for. But clearly, Steve, I think they make good changes to it.
Absolutely.
Dave Burns, let's talk more about the 20.
And Adam Stevens agreed changes needed to be made to this 20 car. So he was so happy with the way they ran here in March. Remember, he sat on pole and finished second to Denny Hamlin, so they knew they had something. And Adam said that was a huge step in the right direction for this team and this driver at this track. So building on it, tried things yesterday that didn't exactly work, and as you say, made the right changes so far.
So positivity for Christopher Bell, positivity for Ryan Blaney. 31st to 19th. That 12 just keeps methodically working its way through the field.
But now he's kind of out of the chaos, Jeff. Right now it's like, now he can take a breath, get his car, figure out how it's driving, set up the 60. I mean, 10 laps ago, there was no racing or setting one up for the pass. It was kind of a bar fight. Now this is real kind of short track action. This is what the 12 was in the middle of a few laps ago, is this pushing and shoving back here.
Suarez trying to block Ty. Ty's like, no. Suarez, I feel like Suarez has been in the middle of a hornet's nest since the start of this race.
After making up 10 positions early on in stage 1, that's the second incident that Suarez has been involved in. Meanwhile, William Byron, he's led for 52 laps. NASCAR 25 is available now for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Get the real NASCAR experience, build your own team, race online, and go door to door with the stars. You can learn more at NASCAR25.com. Riding along with Brad Keselowski, the BuildSubmarines.com on board. Brad's a little further back than where he'd like to be, currently running in 30th. Meanwhile, Blaney continues to make progress. Ryan is up to 17th place from starting in 31st. And Parker Kligerman a little bit further forward in the field. Kyle Larson still in a strong second.
Yes, Lee, and before that caution, we were noticing how Logano and Chase Elliott were making passes. Well, we weren't the only ones to notice that. Take a listen to the FIS radio.
Chase has been passing by doing what we've seen, running above them for one corner and then getting a good run up off, get position, take it away. He's been doing good doing that so far. Your pace has been good.
So that's sort of the thing that we are seeing, and the teams are assessing as well, and they've been continuing to update Kyle Larson about what the 9 of Chase Elliott is doing line-wise. Occasionally, Chase Elliott has been doing a wider entry, getting the run off the corner. This is all the things the teams and drivers are evaluating, especially when you're up front like Kyle, and you can't see that because obviously you're up front.
You'll catch 66 first.
So good. Look at the difference in the lines. Chase Elliott, a really high entry. Both leave on the bottom, both running the same speed. You couldn't drive two race cars any differently at Martinsville than these two drivers are right now. Now they're starting to catch some lap traffic. Casey Mears, now they're both going to get a little more to the bottom of the racetrack to try to make this pass. 35 of Herbst going by him. Got to work together, Steve. It's really, you know, you want to pick a spot up for sure, and using those guys as a pick almost, but early in the race, you almost use this as an opportunity to just work together, get by these two guys, then we'll go back battling amongst ourselves.
Yeah, and I want to work together with Larson, even if he doesn't want me to. I'm going to let him do the work, get the bottom lane clear for us, and now once we get clear, then we can go back to racing as Blaney gets another car, passing the 45 of Reddick. That will move Blaney all the way up into the 16th position.
Blaney is so good at making passes at every kind of racetrack. You know, when he has something that happens, bad qualifying event or something, I don't worry about he and his team being able to get track position.
Going to bring in our Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett. DJ, yesterday you said after qualifying when Blaney was in 31st, you said that's not time to panic. It's achievable for him to come through the field. How so? Why were you so confident so early?
Well, I think Jeff Burton and I understand exactly how long this race is. I mean, there are so many things that are going to happen. And just what Jeff was pointing out there about Blaney, being patient, taking things as they come to it. He's not pressing the issue here. He's taking opportunities when they come along and moving around the racetrack. He and Chase Elliott can take that wide entry into the corner, get a nice run off, and make it forward. So that's why I thought Ryan Blaney would find himself in the mix. By stage 2, he's going to be up inside the top 10 and then just doing whatever he needs to do to give himself an opportunity to win. But those Hendrick cars are sure looking like they are the class of the field right at this moment.
Well, I used to have written big on my notebook coming here, lead lap at lap 300, top 10 at lap 400. That was the recipe to run well here. And if you worried about really anything else, you would really kind of get behind on the racetrack, get behind on the adjustments, or get behind on your anger, right? You just get too frustrated too early. You just have to understand things aren't going to always go your way on some of these traffic situations.
This does look like an old school Martinsville race. You know, you think about races here in the past, it would take forever to lap somebody. And here, you see the 24 car in 40 laps. Now he's up to some really good cars. Now he's got to the back of the field. And now it's going to get more difficult. But you can see the difference. In a good handling car versus a bad handling car, William Byron clearly has an advantage over these guys.
The Valvoline onboard shows us the view for William Byron. Let's show you why pole position yesterday and leading so far for 74 laps has been the medicine this team needed. Because just a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas, this horrendous crash when he plowed into the back of Ty Dillon. Confusion on pit lane entry. Fortunately, neither driver were injured. And then coming to the checkered flag just a week ago in Talladega, look at all of those positions go flying by as William Byron plummeted in the field. So it was 1-2. He does not need this to be a knockout 3-punch here, Steve. He needs this to be the comeback punch and the comeback race, and so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good, but I will tell you there's not many races that 400 laps to go means more than this one. Track's going to change, cars will improve, so for Byron, while the goal is to lead, and you absolutely want to be where he is, Rudy Fugle and William are going to have to be very vocal with one another of what they need to stay ahead of the rest of the field on kind of the learning curve.
Look at this just a few moments ago. William Byron, John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, Nemechek drives right up and over the curb and basically drives himself out of the way of the 24. The 24 is trying to get by him, gives him a couple shots, but then the 42 takes care of himself. Yeah. Easy to do. When the front tires decide to work and you don't have them pointed in the correct spot, you can drive right up over that curbing. And unlike like a street curb, that black area on the curbing, it's not 90 degrees to the racetrack. It's like 45 degrees, which allows this car to kind of climb it, and then it spits you off from it kind of up a lane.
That's a good view.
Yeah, so you got to want to be right down against it, right? You want to be right here, but I'm going to tell you, if you come in and you hit there, instantly you're going this direction, up the racetrack, and that's really what happens. And with these lower profile tires, it happens, I think, even easier than maybe in a truck or an Xfinity car, which the tires are a little squishier, so you can use some curb. I feel like with these cars right here, if you just touch it, it shoves you up a half a lane. Look how close those guys are.
Napa on board with Chase Elliott.
Some use of that rear bumper, whether the 42 wanted it or not.
Let's go from teammate to teammate, from the 9 to the 24. William Byron. Marty, tell us more.
Yeah, you showed the chaos a moment ago, Lee, from Las Vegas and from Talladega. According to the team, in those two incidents, they lost about 55 stage points by their estimation. But Rudy Fugle told William Byron after Las Vegas, before Talladega, we have to view Martinsville as our championship race. That's the way I viewed this race for 2 weeks. So they spent 2 weeks getting ready for Martinsville. All the sim time leading into Talladega was about Martinsville. This week, all about Martinsville again. And Rudy Fugle told me this morning that had to be our attitude coming into this race. I'm not sure we spent more time on a race this year than this one so far, showing up on the pole, and they've led all 83 laps.
It has been a strong day for the driver of the 24, and there's a story behind every number. It's been driven by William Byron since the start of the 2018 season, but of course, made famous by Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon, who won all 4 of his Cup championships and all 93 races in the 24, and that 93rd and final win came right here in Martinsville. Live here on NBC, you're watching the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. This is the Xfinity 500 from historic Martinsville Speedway. Been racing here for more than 7 decades. And boy, hasn't it provided some amazing action. And today it will be the stage that provides us the story heading in to next weekend's championship decider, the championship finale at Phoenix Raceway. 2 drivers have more comfort than others, and that's Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin. They are already locked into the championship 4. Dave Burns, tell us more.
Let's talk about Denny Hamlin first. If he could win, he could keep others from bumping out his teammate Christopher Bell from a possibility of going for a championship. As you look at King's Hawaiian on board, you can see Denny racing now in the 6th position. The car's been pretty good. He considered the first run not really tight anywhere, but the interesting thing is how long this run is going. 62 on the current run. Chris Gale, his crew chief, told me earlier today, man, I'm not sure if these left sides are going to last past 75. We'll be close to that by stage end, Parker.
And that's been a question mark for his teammate as well, Chase Briscoe, who just got an update from his team to start using the throttle more because they felt like the tire where they saw at that first caution, he could push a little harder here. But I think a lot of people wonder, what are these 2 racing for? Yes, they can help their teammate get in, but they're also trying to drive momentum into Phoenix because momentum creates performance creates confidence, and that's what this 19 team told me was at the utmost of their mind going into this race, was keeping up their confidence going into next week where they can go fight for a championship. Right now, running in 10th, they're having a pretty good day. I'd say they are keeping up that confidence a little bit.
There's the man bottom box who was elated last weekend, James Small, with his driver, Chase Briscoe, getting that first ever Super Speedway win, 3rd win on the year to lock himself into the championship 4. He's only been to championship weekend once before with a chance, and that was in his Xfinity days. Didn't clinch the championship that year, but he does have a shot. And he has the best average finish of any driver during these 2025 playoffs. He said before the playoffs even began, give us a chance. If we can get to that championship 4, if we can get to Phoenix, there's no reason why we can't go all the way. The driver of the Shell Pennzoil 22, bright yellow and red, Joey Logano, 3-time defending champ. Stevie, all he wants is a chance to be there to try and defend.
Yeah, right. I'll be honest. This is not the 22 car I saw yesterday in practice. Dale Jarrett and I had a conversation, and I told Marty that what I didn't like about the 22 is it looked broken up. It looked like he had to force to connect the entry to the middle, to the exit. So as they ride on board with the 22, just watch what he does now. Very calm, a little bit of tightness, picks up the throttle, a little correction, but that looks like a car to me, Jeff, that is well on its way into handling just correctly. It's allowing Joey to be patient and use the tires, not abuse the tires, and for that reason, now he's one of the best cars on the track, up to the 3rd position.
See right here is progressive temp telemetry here. Watch how he uses the throttle, how smooth he is on the throttle. He doesn't just jump back in it. Off the throttle, on the brakes, rolls the center, easy on the throttle, take care of those rear tires. You want to make the pass as quickly as you can, but you don't want to spin the rear tires. That takes life out of them. The other thing, Steve, I like about this car is the flexibility it has, meaning he doesn't have to just run the bottom. He can run the top. We've seen him make several passes on the top of the racetrack. Now he moves to the top to drive underneath the 3-on-corner exit. I don't know why, even though we watch practice, we doubt this team. This time of year, they find a way, right? It's unbelievable how they find a way to be their best. His teammate Blaney started in 31st. He is in 10th place. Penske they just step up this time of year.
Meanwhile, this forward surge continues from the 12 of Ryan Blaney. 31st to 11th. Make it 10th. That discount tire Ford is moving very efficiently. 16 laps to go in the Xfinity 500, and Kyle Busch in the 8 there was the last driver on the lead lap until William Byron just zipped on by.
That makes this run of Ryan Blaney even more impressive. Remember, he was with all of these cars in the back, right? He was back here with Wallace, Hocevar, Busch, Reddick, cars that are either lapped or looking to go a lap down. So, Kim, this 12th car of Ryan Blaney, we'd all thought he could recover, but it has taken a very impressive first stint here to keep himself in the game and on the lead lap.
Absolutely. We were a little worried after yesterday's practice and qualifying, but the team was not. When I checked in this morning, they felt like they had good pace yesterday. So I asked Crew Chief Jonathan Hassler what was the challenge ahead of them today. He said, we're going to have to get track position the hard way by passing cars on track. He said, in the past, pit road has been the best way to pass cars at Martinsville, but with this new tire, we're not sure you have as many options on pit road. Blaney has answered the call, gone to work. He's been the biggest mover so far this race. Right now, quiet on the radio, which, Marty, usually means either a happy driver or a focused driver.
Kim and his teammate Joey Logano trying to make his 7th championship 4. And Steve mentioned it a moment ago. The weakness for this 22 car in practice yesterday was the long run. Their strength on this run has been the long run. At the beginning of the run, Jeff, Paul Wolfe told Joey Logano, I need you in long run mentality. We have to have these tires last until the end of this stage. So when your crew chief tells you, Jeff, long run mentality, what does that trigger in your mind behind the wheel?
Cannot spin the rear tires, cannot overwork the front tires. You have to make lap time. You can't just ride around there and go slow. But you have to make speed in a way that doesn't make your tires angry is the best way I know how to describe it. Don't overheat that right front tire by driving into the corner too deep. Don't just jump in the gas. Be nice, smooth. But a good handling car like Joey Logano has, I believe that does more to save tires than a driver can. I think the easier you can make pace and drive the car easy, that's on the car, right? Some cars can run a certain speed, but the driver has to drive it harder to go that fast. A car that doesn't have to be driven hard to make a good lap time, that car will save more tire.
What a launch off turn 2 by Joey Logano to just breeze by Kyle Larson. Hey, talking about rubber, talking about tires, have a listen to this recent radio transmission to the 20 of Christopher Bell.
There's bound to be a lot of rubber buildup. I can see huge rubber clods coming off some of these dudes' cars. Copy.
Yeah, the spotter's just telling the crew chief what he's seeing. You know, these tires as they wear, the rubber not only kind of grinds off, but also balls up. So there's the rubber right there kind of sticking on the racetrack. You see that big chunk that balls up. You just wonder, you know, what that does over 500 laps, where that rubber ends up going into the ductwork, into the brake cooling, and some other areas. We'll see if it becomes a story later in the race.
I tell you what I've seen, the speed of the tires fell off a lot quicker yesterday. All this rubber coming off the tire, it seemed like it wasn't falling off very much, but it is now. These last several laps, the speed has come off the race cars. You can see people sliding around a lot more. So late in this run, they become way more difficult to drive well.
88 laps, that's what they've currently run right here. So to your point, we have found a little bit of a cliff with the tire wear, which is good to know, especially as a crew chief. You'd love to see that. You'd love to know something's out there as we're on board the Toyota onboard with Bell.
Inside the final 6 laps of this first stage of the Xfinity 500. And now has lapped all the way to Cole Custer is the, Cole Custer is the last one on the lead lap in 14th. So what an opening stage from William Byron. Exactly what he and the 24 team needed. He has led more laps in this season than any other in his NASCAR Cup Series career. And it's helped by leading 121. 125 thus far today.
This position right here between Elliott and Larson is definitely more important for Larson with 4 to go. Remember, he's in a points battle with Bell, and one of those two will advance on points. For Chase Elliott, he's in a must-win. Now, Chase could care less. He's trying to get all the positions he can before he gets to the end of the stage. We'll see if he's able to do that with Larson. Larson doing a nice job. How about Kyle Busch? I actually have him as a sleeper pick. I thought he looked really good in practice. I mean, he's not very far off. He's running inside the top 20. It's just such a rampant pace early on.
Chase Elliott wants his spot because he lost spots on pit road earlier. The further you come on pit road, the better position you're running, the better opportunity. If something bad happens, you don't fall back as far.
And the one good news of the playoff drivers, as you said, 14 cars on the lead lap. Well, that will make pit road very, very clean during the yellow. Let's see what happens to the 11 right here. Oh, he just gets locks the tires up. He didn't expect the 21 to be there. So now he goes up, he's got junk all over his tires. See right here, just trying not to hit the 21, gets the front tires locked up. That's how easy you can lose positions.
And all that rubber that we showed on a replay a little bit ago, that now gets stuck to the tires, and the car drives horrible for a lap or two.
1 to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Not even that, because William Byron comes off turn 4, and this is the start to the day that he needed. Wins stage 1 convincingly with 126 laps led. Nicely done, and Joey Logano in a fine second.
Into that points battle, Larson third. Bell, I believe, is going to clock in here in 8th. So that is 5 points guaranteed. So what was a 1 point difference is now a 6 point difference between the 5 and the 20. We'll be tracking that all day long.
William Byron knows he needs to win today for his teammate Kyle Larson. He's racing Christopher Bell, so power to the 2 Hendrick teammates. So far, stage 1, early days here in Martinsville. Oops. Exciting careers are available now nationwide, ensuring the US Navy has its next generation of submarines. If you're looking for a stable, impactful career, visit buildsubmarines.com. We build giants because it takes one to build one. And there is the buildsubmarines.com Ford from RFK Racing and Brad Keselowski. I want to tell you about today's event here at Martinsville Speedway, and it's so special for a couple of loyal Xfinity customers and Xfinity Rewards members. You just saw Jason Trent. He played the role of Grand Marshal, and that's Jennifer Gregory. She was the honorary starter. Congratulations to both of you, and thanks for being Xfinity customers and Rewards members. Kind of cool to get that opportunity for both of them. So we're in the stage break. William Byron, the man who dominated this opening stage, he gets to go back to his team here, regroup. They focus on the second stage coming up. Here's Kim Kuhn.
Chase Elliott saying it's all about the rear tires. Early having to ask more of my right rear than I wanted to, but otherwise good. 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Sunoco fuel, no changes for the 9, Parker.
Same comments from his teammate Kyle Larson there, who faded from 2nd to 3rd at the end of that run. He said, I just hurt the rear tires too much, so they'll give a small air pressure adjustment. 4 tires, Dave.
Christopher Bell said that car held on way better that time, so just a small adjustment here to keep up with the track, Marty.
Can't have a better stage 1 than William Byron did. Led every lap of stage 1, gets the win. 4 tires top for this team. Byron said it was a little bit tight at the beginning of the run, but honestly, after that, all I did was manage using that pit stall number 1. The 2014 will easily hold serve here on pit road, Lee.
Well, that was close between Logano and Larson, that race off pit road. It is the final race in the round of 8. There is just one to go after this. That's why today at Martinsville is so important. Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe are already locked in and have a chance to win their first Cup Series title. For everybody else, they're trying to fill those final 2 slots. Who will it be? Here's the 22 car driven by 3-time Cup Series champ Joey Logano. He's done that since 2013. NASCAR's first Cup champion Red Byron drove it when he won the inaugural championship in 1949. Hall of Famer Fireball Roberts won it at 30 times. And Hall of Famer Bobby Allison won his 1983 Cup championship driving the number 22. Dale Jarrett, there is so much in a number, as you know, as a Hall of Famer. I've got a question for you. When you see the 11 of Denny Hamlin, do you think about your dad who famously drove the number 11?
Yeah, really, it's the first thing that comes to my mind, to know all of those years that my dad drove that 11 car, and now to see Denny having the success with it. It's been driven a lot of champions throughout the years, but it's just incredible to see that 11 car and the memories that it brings back. Coming here as a kid, used to be an infield down in there. Kyle Petty and I used to throw a football around while this race was going on.
So much has changed as we get ready for the second stage. DJ, what kind of sense do you get from that first stage? I mean, you got the stability of Byron, the progress of Blaney. Logano seems like he's on a bit of a mission. What do you take from that first stage?
Yeah, I think this is a wide open race is what I'm seeing. Obviously, what Byron did was very impressive. Talked about Blaney coming up and getting himself inside the top 10. Just incredible there. But all of the championship drivers, this round of 8 drivers are up there. Chase Briscoe's just outside of the top 10, but the others are right there with an opportunity. A few adjustments by the crew chief and a few adjustments by the drivers. The drivers have to try to keep up with this track. It's going to continue to change.
And Dale, when I look at the leaderboard, we have Gibbs in 5th, a non-playoff driver, but how about just behind the playoff drivers? Hendrick, Priest, SVG, and Gillen having a great run as well.
Yeah, sure. How about SVG has become very impressive. Anybody that thought that he couldn't drive an oval, this man's too talented not to catch on at some point. They're giving him good cars, and it's fun to watch what he's doing now.
And don't forget about Austin Dillon. We know how good he is. He is the last car on the lead lap, but Austin Dillon, he is so good at this type of racetrack and with these tires.
All right, stage break complete. Everybody's ready. Everybody knows what they've got. Here we go. Stage 2 of the Xfinity 500 is underway. Good restart, William Byron. This could be a very telling stage for the 22 of Joey Logano, and whether or not he has a chance to defend his title and have an opportunity for a fourth. Lots of racing still here at Martinsville, but this stage could be so important. Here comes Chase Elliott on the higher line of his teammate, Kyle Larson. There's the 5 and the 9, side by side, right in front of Gibbs. Monster on board. Let's go for a ride.
They go 1 off, 20-11.
Christopher Bell looms large in the background as well. Keep your eye on that 20 this afternoon, because this was the race where it all came undone a year ago that denied him an opportunity to go to Phoenix and race for a championship on the very last lap, past Bubba Wallace, and then went into the turn 3-4 wall, accelerated around, and NASCAR said, no way, you're not allowed to do that anymore, and he was denied a shot at the championship 4.
They all see Chase Elliott on the top of the racetrack. Look at Gibbs trying to get underneath Larson. A little bit of contact, thought he had that spot, was not willing to concede it. But they all see Elliott on the outside, and they want to take advantage of this. And Steve, we started this race out talking about drivers having to save tires. Without as much tire wear as what we anticipated, now as a driver, I'm questioning myself. How hard can I run right here? If I do run hard, we don't really know what the result is going to be later in the run. But at some point, if you're Chase Elliott, you can't be saving tire on the outside. You've got to get yourself to the bottom.
I think that's the key. There's a time and a place. I think the improved tire wear has a little to do with the weather and a lot to do with what the drivers have done, the mentality going in. So we'll see if someone decides to push the issue a little bit right here. But I agree with you. The 9 car is going to have to work a little harder in that second lane.
They all know it, right? These are smart race car drivers. They all going to take advantage of a weakness that you're showing. They know you're going to have to work harder on that outside lane. Do not let him in.
And all of a sudden in this front group, we can now talk about Ryan Blaney. There's the 12 right behind Denny Hamlin. Incredibly patient, methodical, step by step, pass by pass, first stage. And now he can focus forward on trying to win this particular fall race for the 3rd year in a row.
And I always love to see when a car comes from the back. We know he's better than the mid-tier cars, but now he's here. Now he's at the heavyweight fight at the front. We'll see if the 12 can continue to go forward if he kind of levels out. So far, I love how this 12 car looks, really rolling the corner.
Look at the 9 of Chase Elliott. He has an opportunity right here to back up, get behind the 12, get in front of the 2, continues to fight on the outside. That allows the 2 to get to the rear bumper of the 12. Now that opportunity to fall in behind has been taken away. So right here, there's a spot. Just can't quite make it happen.
I feel like the 9 is kind of comfortable running the outside. I think he is losing spots, but to your point, Jeff, I don't see him fighting his way to the bottom. Kim.
And Blaney running in the 8th position, but maybe not as good as it looked. Take a listen to the radio from the 12 team.
Get the pretty big vibration on the brake pedal.
Turn the fans off.
Are all the wheels tight? Maybe chrome.
Be fine. You can take care of yourself.
So they told him all of the wheels were tight on that last stop. So Jeff, if it's not a loose wheel, what is causing that feeling that Blaney has behind the wheel?
It could be brakes, right? We have to talk about brake shake every now and then here. Brakes are vibrating, the rotors, the brake pads aren't exactly lined up the way they need to be.
So far, so good though. Doesn't seem to be affecting Blaney too badly. William Byron continues to lead, just over half a second over Joey Logano. There's that gap, top of your screen. A little bit of breathing room for William. Take you back and show you Cole Custer and Ross Chastain from a few moments ago. Check this out.
Yes, everybody just trying to make a move. That is a late move underneath the 41 of Custer.
Yeah, he's not going to love that.
No, nor is the 23, because he got shoved out 3 wide.
And as they run right now, Custer's shuffled behind the 21 and the 23 and the 8. As we go on board with thanks to Napa, here's Chase Elliott. Get to see a contrast of where that 9's going to work better. Saw him on the outside line continually. Now he's been able to get back in line and run lower. Jeff, as a Martinsville winner, what was your preferred area on the track? Where did you find that you were able to get the best speed and tire life?
Well, what I like about, we've seen Blaney, you see right here, Larson jumping to the outside of Logano. It really depends. I mean, Steve and I talked about in the Countdown to Green show, like, depends on how the rubber's building up on the racetrack, and you never really know. Historically, the bottom is better here, but there are some races where the middle has been really good. I still believe as this race evolves, we don't really have the answer yet about where you really want to be when it becomes winning time. But I like the ability of some of these cars to be able to do this. Enter high, turn low, corner exit, going around the 3 car. I just mentioned him. We know how good he is on this type of racetrack. What they did was they did not pit this time. They took the wave around, which means the last time they pitted was lap 30. So he has a ton of laps on his tires, just trying to gamble, hoping for a quick caution right there.
And you want to see what makes you one of the best defenders in the field. Watch what Joey Logano does. He's not really concerned with the 5 car, but he kind of rolls in here. And look how low he exits. I mean, he just exits so low, it doesn't give the 5 an opportunity to kind of turn underneath them.
I do think it's interesting, Steve. From a driver's standpoint, part of this race is playing defense, right? And when you only have to protect the bottom, that makes defense a lot easier. But we've seen cars be able to jump on the outside of others. Now, how do I play defense? Which lane do I block on corner entry? It's hard to block both.
What I talked about right here. Joey Logano, #1 when it comes to defense. Ross Chastain, no surprise, at #3. And, you know, a lot of that comes down to mistakes. Joey doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. And he also, I think, can shift his mind to imagine what it's like following him, right, Diff? He puts himself in the trailing car. And he just really puts his car in the right position. Like I said, low on exit. Like, watch this 22 right here. He's a half a groove up, giving the curve to the 5. But now watch how low he exits. I mean, he's low. He doesn't even slide out to the wall like cars do.
And while you talk about defending and his defense, he said yesterday, people think that I've won 3 titles and I'm just going to cruise for the rest of my career. No way. I want more championships. NASCAR Cup Series playoffs live here on NBC. This is the Xfinity 500, and you're watching the Xfinity car of Bubba Wallace go at it just inside the top 20 with Kyle Busch, and this happened just a few moments ago.
These guys have been racing really hard. Kyle Busch just gave Bubba Wallace just enough room. Look at this. Just a very small amount of room to get inside of him, some contact.
Let's talk more about this car with Parker Kligerman. What you got, mate?
Right, Lee, as we go on to the Xfinity Mobile onboard here with Bubba Wallace looking back at Kyle Busch. This is one of Bubba Wallace's best tracks. He finished third here in the spring. He's got 2 Truck Series wins. When I spoke to his crew chief, Charles Tonight, earlier today, he said, we had an awesome car in practice. One of the best all year. We didn't have the best qualifying performance, but we expect that speed to show up in the race. Well, that hasn't been the case right here. A lap down in 19th, unfortunately, just not showing that same pace they had yesterday in practice. And we talked about throughout the first portion of this race. In practice, it seemed like this might be a tire conservation race that hasn't quite showed up, and sometimes that affects the speed that you think you have in your race car, like we've seen out of Bubba Wallace in his 23 today.
Didn't quite make the round of 8, but is on target to finish in the top 10 in the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series points.
Well, and it's hard to imagine, you know, he's a lap down, which sounds so negative, but he's only 19th. You know, it was quite an impressive first stage.
This is what it looks like, with thanks to HendrickCars.com, to be chasing down Joey Logano here at Martinsville.
'71, '75.
Parker, tell us more about Larson.
A couple laps ago, we had those onboards looking at Kyle and Joe Logano, who's just ahead of him, and you might have noticed their right hand not actually shifting. Take a listen to the 5's radio.
Is he fourth gear?
I think you asked if he was in 4th gear, and he stopped shifting about the time you stopped shifting. William has been shifting the whole time.
And that's the big deal as you look at some of these guys trying to just have longevity through the runs here, is to stop that shifting. And Jeff, you know, this is one of the things with this next-gen car. To make a fast lap, you can shift and get those RPMs and then launch off the corner. But if you want to save those rear tires and make them last for the long run, you don't want to put all that energy through them by shifting and still be able to make lap time without it.
It does help the rear tires, but I tell you one thing it does hurt is that when you downshift, it puts RPMs to the engine, and that helps brake the car. And so if you're going to slow the car down, now you have to use more brake if you're not downshifting. See, William Byron, he downshifts. He's probably having to use a little less brake than the other guys because the rear gear slows the car down more.
3rd and 4th. This is a 5-speed transmission, but the way the ratios work out here, you'll see right here he's going to go between 3rd and 4th gear, so no 5th gear used. The other part to that, Jeff, is just if the car rolls the middle of the corner good enough, you might just stay, you could say, in 4th, especially if you're not in traffic. You know, in traffic, I think 3rd gear is probably a pretty big advantage.
Marty, what you got?
When Byron caught traffic last time, Lee, that's where Joey Logano really made up some ground. But it's interesting. We talked about it in Countdown to Green. This new left side tire was the talk of practice. It was the talk of the garage area this morning. But I got to tell you, after 93 green flag laps on the last run, the tires look pretty good. So with that change strategy, this is what Rudy Fugle told William Byron before they went back green.
It's close, but looking like we could run it out here, so we'll see. I think those guys struggle so bad that they're going to want to pit, so that may force our hand. So we'll just be ready. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, copy.
So, Steve, the tire wear was so much better that teams were thinking they were going to split stage 2, but now they're thinking they would run it out. So, as a crew chief, do you sort of unleash your driver and say, hey, drive as hard as you want now? We're not seeing the wear that we thought we would so far in this race.
I don't think you can drive as hard as you want. I still think the improved wear is because the drivers are this good. I just think they have a knack to understand tire grip. And it's kind of like someone who's never run a mile before. They have no idea how to run the first lap around the track, Diff, right? I got to do 4 of these, so is this too hard, not hard enough? I don't know. Or if you've trained for a mile your whole life, you know exactly what pace you need to leave the blocks from. These drivers are the best of the best. They know what 95% is, 92%, 88%. I couldn't match my lap time from lap to lap, so I would have no idea, but you're on board Denny Hamlin. These guys they don't drive with a sledgehammer, they drive with a scalpel, and I think some of this tire life is part of that.
Plenty of attention on those vying for the championship 4, and understandably so. Today is an elimination race, and William Byron out in front has never won an elimination race. But how about everybody else? Well, the pack of everybody else is led by that 54 in the top box, the monster Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing of Ty Gibbs. Ty runs in 5th. He started on the front row, and he's been in the front pack all day long. If you scoot back several positions, you'll pick up that Dayglow Menards Ford for Team Penske. There he is there, Austin Cindric. He runs in 9th. Behind him, Ryan Preece is in 10th. Todd Gilliland of that runner-up finish a week ago. Gilliland's in 11th, and SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, runs in 12th. So there's some non-playoff drivers in pretty prominent positions here in Martinsville this afternoon doing a really nice job.
We talk about patience at this racetrack. Denny Hamlin has been using it. Racing this 20 car, Denny's faster, but he has not moved the 20 out of the way. But now here comes the 12. Now the 12 is starting to put a little bit of pressure on Denny. Now Denny's got to go, right? You cannot be patient enough to where the guy behind you, he can get by you. Like both of these cars are just a little bit quicker than Bell. You see Denny changing his mindset here a little bit, trying to enter high and was wanting to exit low. Listen to what they're talking about.
Come on, man. He's been close enough long enough. Let him go.
I'm not real sure what he was referring to right there.
He's been close enough, long enough, just let him go. Not quite sure either. So a little frustration there from Denny Hamlin, one of the 2 drivers already locked into the championship 4. Meanwhile, up front, William Byron has led 188 laps today. He's being chased by a guy who's won 6 elimination races in Joey Logano. But Joey's a second and a half further back than Larson, then Elliott. And then we get into this zone here with Gibbs, Bell, Blaney, and Hamlin. Here's the race leader.
Yeah, and he's now back into lead lap cars, right? Tyler Reddick right there. He's 15th. That's the last car in the lead lap. He was now a lap down. Cole Custer up the road about a quarter of a lap, and that 41 car, the maroon 41, would be next up. And these other cars that are already 1 lap down, you're now fighting to not go 2 laps down. That could really hurt your chances in the day. Remember, we've only run 54 laps right here under green, 65 to go in this stage. So I think that Denny Hamlin is also just remaining patient around the curve. I think he understands just how long a 500 lap race is here at Martinsville.
There's the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger, that huge crash while leading last week at Talladega. Fortunately, he bounced back pretty quickly this week. to decide the Final Four, the Championship Four for next weekend in Phoenix, Arizona. Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe are already in that. So 6 drivers going for 2 positions. And we ride with, thanks to Toyota, with Christopher Bell. He's one of those 6 drivers trying to get his way in for a shot at a championship.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin just passed Christopher Bell on the outside. Now the 60 of Priest got by him pretty easily.
Dave, unfortunately, it's going the wrong direction at the moment for Christopher Bell.
It is. Remember what the complaint was before the last pit stop, which was on the long run, the looser I get, the pace really goes away. As you see Larson now working on Logano top of the screen. So for Bell, that may be an issue they need to continue to address.
Very impressive pass by the 5 car. He got to the left side of the 22, then used the 47 as a pick. So that's really nice for the 5. It continues to move up, just trying to continue to gap the 20 car of Bell in points. Remember, just a points battle between the 5 and the 20. The 9's going to now try to get to the inside of the 47.
This is the time of the last run, Steve, lap 65, where we started to see a change in whose car drove well and who didn't. The 20 car, he's been struggling the last few laps. You're starting to see his car's just not like how he needs it to be.
Well, the difference was the last run was going to be 90 laps. This one's going to be nearly 120, 125. So, you know, if you struggle the last 15 laps of the last stage, you're going to struggle for the last 35 laps of that stage. It's going to be a lot more time to lose, if not a lap, right? It can go away so quick. Bell, who's only 7 seconds behind the leader, as he starts to get passed by cars like Todd Gilliland right here for 11th, right? Next thing you know, that leader's going to be on the same straight as you behind you.
What a good day for Todd Gilliland. Currently passing Bell, that puts him in the top 10. Remember last week, he had a legitimate shot to win that race.
Yeah.
Up front, late in the race, didn't work out, but this team's starting to come together over the last few weeks.
He loves this place too. Got his first Truck Series race win here. Proudly shows off that grandfather clock at home in the living room. And is thrilled that his teammates remain the same at Front Row Motorsports next year as well.
16 of AJ Allmendinger's going to look like he's Superman right here because he's off from pit road with fresh tires. You got a whole mix in the field. I think the leaders, as Marty was talking about earlier, are just going to run the stage all the way through. Lap down cars, though, can get to the point where they're handling so poorly they needed to change tires. I think that's what's happened to Allmendinger, now 4 laps down in 35th.
Check this out with Christopher Bell and watch for the rubber flying. Spoke about this earlier in the show. Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, it doesn't do a lot of damage when it bounces off the car, the hood, the windshield. But if you get stuck inside the wheel well, it could create a shake on the wheels. It could hurt cooling. It could pile up in an area where, you know, we have seen fires before. We hope that's not the case here, but with that much rubber all over the racetrack, every time we go to an onboard and you just see the noses and the hoods, they just look all beat up like they've already run 1,000 laps here, and that's for all the tire debris.
That 10 car, we talked about the difference in new tires. The 10 car, he has much newer tires than these guys. You can see how he can easily maneuver around the 22s, running third.
And why you wouldn't power, you know, you can pit here. It costs about 20, 22 seconds plus a pit stop. So call it 33 to 35 seconds. Problem is that's a lap and a half. You give up a lot of time. You'll be a lap down for a pretty good window of time, which is a big risk.
Kim Kuhn, tell us more about Chase Elliott.
Yeah, you guys have been talking just about some different strategies, specifically the guys that are lapped down. But what about the leaders? Remember, Marty had the conversation earlier in the stage about Byron and kind of what they were thinking about for this stage. Here was the communication about strategy for Chase Elliott in the 19.
Oh, you're talking about going the full 120? Yes, copy.
Caution is out. And is that the 77 of Carson Hocevar? Indeed it is.
Carson's being shown 2 laps down right now. Trying to get turned around, get in front of the 24 car. He's able to do it to keep from losing another lap.
Carson was 25th at the time.
This will bring all of the leaders to pit road for a new set of tires. one lap down cars may pit, or I can make an argument you want to stay out on the racetrack and try to get really lucky.
Let's take a look at what happened to Carson Hocevar. First car in shot.
Oh, looks like Suarez behind him. 99. Hard to tell from that angle if there was contact. It is an odd spot to spin out by yourself.
Ooh, lucky for Kyle Larson. Watch this.
Ah, that is close. That shows you how quickly things can change, right? Could have easily gotten in that.
It was hard to tell if there was contact. Remember, that's where Suarez is going, is to Spire, so you would think Hocevar wouldn't want to send his future teammate around.
Pit road's getting super busy. Here they come.
Yeah, and originally they were going to run it out to the end of the stage. Obviously, this caution changes things for Chase. He said he turned a little bit better, but had to protect his rears late. No changes, 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel, Parker.
It was the same plan for his teammate Kyle Larson, whose only remark on the radio was, "I feel good just taking care of it, Dave."
Christopher Bell lost 4 positions over that run. He was asked, what do you need? He said, we have to have it turning better, especially entry to center. Marty, adjustment here.
Rudy Fugle wanted William Byron to go a little bit wider in his stall. You see him hit that tape right on the left front tire. He said it was a little bit tight in the center, a little bit heavier with the wheel, but he said don't make a big adjustment. I think a lot of that was traffic. 24 once again will hold serve. Keep the lead here on pit road, Lee.
Good stuff, Marty. What a fascinating combo of tracks for the round of 8. Las Vegas Motor Speedway was a highly eventful day and one of Denny Hamlin's best wins. And then Talladega for Chase Briscoe's first ever Super Speedway win. And here at the half-mile historic Martinsville Speedway, who will conquer this place today? Late stage caution has brought a good chunk of this field to pit road, but there were problems for the driver who locked himself in last weekend of the championship for Parker. Tell us more.
Right, it looked like possibly there was a gun issue here for the 19 of Chase Briscoe, but it actually potentially was that the nut was too tight, basically. So they had to work to get it loose, and that was part of the issue here for the 19 of Chase Briscoe. Eventually got that fixed. You'll see them go around. That was the issue there.
So what happens is with these aluminum wheels, it's easy to get the guns over tight. So on the right-hand side, that's a normal pit gun that you use. There's a pre-approved heavy duty. When I mean heavy duty, this thing is nothing you want to use for a pit box. It weighs a tremendous amount, but each team has one. You come back, you unplug the main gun, you plug in this super heavy duty like you're changing tires on a semi-truck on the side of the interstate, and you knock that wheel nut off. Why it matters is because with the brake temperature and the aluminum wheel, if you aren't careful, you can over-tighten a wheel. And that nut will not come off. So you just wonder, Jeff, if this is a sign of things to come or if this is just an isolated issue.
Stand back, everybody. We're bringing in Gigantor.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yeah, that would be enough reason I couldn't. That'd be one of the many reasons I couldn't change tires, because I don't think I'm going to pick that thing up and run around the car.
All right, everybody's stacked up and ready to go. William Byron has never led this many laps at any track in his NASCAR Cup Series career. He sees the green. Let's go back to racing with 37 laps to go in stage 2.
I imagine the 5 and the 24 are going to work together. Let the 24 down.
It's a Hendrick Motorsports 1, 2, 3. And 2 Team Penske cars right behind. Here comes Ryan Blaney on the outside of his teammate Joey Logano down into turn 1.
Chase Elliott went to the bottom to block the 22. That slowed them both down. Blaney jumped to the outside. Look at the advance that allowed Blaney to make.
Only 36 to go in the stage, so when we asked how hard these guys could run if they had unlimited tire life, you're starting to see it. And with that, the 24 of William Byron sets the fastest lap of the race at lap 225.
And Christopher Bell, who was flailing DJ towards the end of that last run, he's already back. He's re-energized. He's back in the mix.
Yeah, it could have been a championship-saving opportunity for Christopher Bell and his team right there. They were outside of the top 10 getting no stage points. Larson was running second. He was going to have to beat the 5 car by 10 or 11 spots at the end of this race. So let's see what he can make the most of this run here with these fresh tires and probably an adjustment to his car.
Yeah, look at all the drivers at the front of the pack that have to win to advance themselves into the championship 4 next weekend. There is a lot of them that have a chance to make it happen, and that puts a ton of pressure on that 5 and that 20 to try to gain points.
In this snapshot right here, these 3 drivers must win today. Hunt Brothers Pizza shows us from Joey Logano, his teammate Ryan Blaney. To the left, Chase Elliott. A must-win scenario for these 3 drivers.
And the guy leading the race, right? So every one of them is in position to make it happen.
Crazy. Of the 6 drivers racing for 2 spots, 4 of them, Stevie, are champions.
Well, and that's what makes this playoff field just so impressive this year. It's the heavyweights of all heavyweights. As you see, the caution comes out. Cole Custer in that 41 scheme spun around. All 4 tires are aired up.
Cole's running in the 15th place. Around that, he's been able to stay in the lead lap. He's been having a good day. Fortunately, he's able to stay in the lead lap right here.
Some drivers that were a lap down that decided to wave around. If Ross Chastain and Eric Jones will now be able to pit. Let's see. Oh, they'll stack up. 48 into the 21, 21 into the 41. Won't be the last time we see a stack up like that.
That's been going on as long as they built this racetrack.
Yeah, watch with the 6. This happens right in front of him. He has to make a decision, low or high. And oh boy.
Does he make contact here? No.
Nicely done, Brad Keselowski.
See how he got off the brakes at the last second? He had everything locked up. And then at the last second, he got off the brakes, and that allowed the car to turn. If he had stayed on the brakes, he would have just absolutely destroyed the wall. Good job.
Now, it was interesting because Josh Berry, Alex Bowman were right around the free pass position. So the 21 is awarded the free pass. So that put the 21 back on the lead lap.
Time to take a look at today's Safe Flight lap leaders. It's kind of comedic, this one, a little bit. It's this guy right here. William Byron. There have been 2 leaders technically. Michael McDowell did lead 5 laps. Remember when he did that 2-tire change, and won the race off pit road. But it's William Byron to the tune of 226 laps led.
Williams doing exactly what he talked about this week to me. He said he's come into this race before where he kind of had to count points, right? And it's very complicated. Like, what are we going to do? Don't want to make a mistake. But the entire effort today is to win, period. Win the race. He said he didn't like to be in that position. On the other hand, it was almost freeing a little bit. Now, I know what I got to do. It's almost a little bit relaxing that we have one thing we got to make happen, and that's go win this race.
NASCAR is going to change their mind on the free pass. I was wondering if it was going to be involved in the incident. So you see the 21. Now, I could argue that the 21 was just a bystander and got shipped by the 48, but I'm not an official. So,
well, he does hit the back of
no doubt that the contact from the 21 to the 41 creates yellow, and NASCAR has every right to say that, hey, you can't get the free pass when you do it that way.
And you can understand
okay
why.
Call. Yeah, I'm okay with that call. Listen, I could argue both sides of that one, but
let's see how Brad Keselowski saw that. Look to your left. And the two-time Martinsville winner squeezes his way around.
Before the storm. Hey, isn't it amazing as a driver how nice you can be when you got it?
This is Elimination Day in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The Xfinity 500 here at Martinsville Speedway. Lee Diffie, Dale Jarrett, Steve Letarte, Jeff Burton with you. I want to take you back and show you a replay again of the incident involving Josh Berry, Alex Bowman, and Cole Custer.
On board with Bowman. Bowman's going to get into the back of the 21, who then gets in the back of the 41. 41 brings the yellow out. The 21 is in the free pass position right here. And when he hits the 41 and spins it around, NASCAR determines that the 21 was involved in the incident, so therefore they don't award him the free pass. I can see that perspective. I will tell you, though, if you're a Josh Berry fan and you're frustrated, I can see the perspective that the 48 sent the 21 down in there. I mean, it was a short track wreck. It's easy to assign blame. I could argue both sides of it. I guess it depends on who you're a fan of. Now, if you're a fan of Cole Custer, you don't care about either of the two guys behind you. Your guy was backwards.
Clearly, the reason that NASCAR has the rule, if you're involved in the incident, you cannot take the free pass, is to keep drivers from spinning someone else to get the free pass.
Yeah, if you would do that?
That is why they have that rule.
Drivers.
Oh, they would do worse than that.
When they come to the line, it's 23 laps to go in stage 2. William Byron, who has been dominant today. He's got his teammate on the inside in Kyle Larson. Here comes Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney, who started this Xfinity 500 in 31st position is now racing his way and fighting with Kyle Larson for second. He could possibly win this stage in an incredible come through the field. The two-time and defending winner of this fall Martinsville race has got a shot at second, up in that second groove.
Teammates working with each other on that restart. Hendrick Motorsports planned that out to let the 24 go in front of the 5. Nothing wrong with that. We've seen it over and over and over, but Blaney's going to make them pay. He is going to take that spot from Larson. Now he is running second.
Little contact there from Larson to the 12. Nothing too serious. And now Blaney has all eyes on William Byron. Points aren't going to be enough today for Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano. It's a win and get in scenario, and the same for William Byron.
The key to this run right here for me, if I'm Blaney, is now I understand exactly what my car needs to do if I'm going to win this race, right? We know he could pass. He knows he could pass. But, okay, now I'm competing against the 24, who's been the dominant car all day. What do we have to do? This run, the information that he's learning that he can relay to his team is valuable for him to try to get a win today.
Well, if I'm Reedy Fugle, too, I'm reminding the 24 to check his mirror. We're not as good as we once thought we were. The 12 is pretty good as we see the 51 spin around. That'll bring out the yellow.
Field compact, but they gather their speed up in enough time not to put Cody Ware in a more awkward position.
Seen this multiple times with this team.
Yep.
Wheels coming off after a pit stop.
See what happened here with Cody and the Rexzilla Ford.
It's just nothing you can do as a driver, right? Wheels loose, tires down, wheel comes off. It's completely out of your control.
Well, Josh Berry, the good news for the 21 is I think he might actually get the free pass this time. He was able to hold off the 48 of Bowman. He scored. We'll see if NASCAR has to say.
Interesting time for him, too, because he'll be able to come down pit road. He'll have to start at the tail end of the longest line, but the caution's coming out for the stage end, right? He'll probably stay out then. He could gain a ton of track position over the next caution.
We spoke about last week at Talladega about having a wingman, helping out your teammate or teammates, plural. Well, Josh Berry in the Wood Brothers Ford, of course, that association and that alliance with Team Penske here appropriately on screen. What can Josh do today that may be able to help the 12 and or the 22? We'll see.
And Jeff, I will say that if you don't need points, so basically the 5 and the 20, now might be the time to pit. This is that caution that could break the field up a little bit, because I agree with you, Jeff, with only 17 to go, probably 10 to go, and we take the end of the stage. I believe you have to make your pit stop now if you're William Byron. I don't think you can afford to run 10 more laps and then just pit, because you're going to get cycled behind cars on just a few lap old tires.
And there were several cars starting at SVG. They pitted on lap 233, right?
Yeah, they're going to stay out here, I bet.
When you had a crucial stop coming up, Stevie, what did you say on the radio as a crew chief? Did you get everyone fired up, or you just said everybody knows what they're going to do? Everybody do your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's execute.
I didn't even really reference it. Split decision at the front of the field. You see Blaney come in, Hendrick cars stay out. I thought there may be some different decisions. This will split it. Byron holds position. 12 on pit road, Kim.
Yeah, last-minute decision to bring him down pit road. He said it just was a little bit tight on the short run. Keep that in mind for the end of the race. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, slight air pressure, Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Denny Hamlin wants 4 fresh tires and an adjustment as well. He brings it down. Crew goes to work, Marty.
Joey Logano was told by Coleman Presley, follow the majority. The majority would be 3. A couple pulled off in front of Joey Logano. He came down pit road, said he's a little bit too tight in the center of the corner. That's his biggest issue. Going to be 4 tires here for that 22. Clean stop for that bunch as well. And a track race off 3 wide off pit road, Lee.
That was super tight between Hamlin, Logano, and Gibbs, with Cindric with a front row view. Here's why we're under caution late in stage 2. Unfortunately, Cody Ware lost a wheel and had to limp his way back to pit road.
12 of Blaney pitted from second. Watch the left front right here. Left front goes on, gun goes on. Looks tight right there. Jack gets dropped. I'm not sure if the gun just wasn't disengaged or if they don't feel great about it. I will tell you there was a conversation. Nothing was said over the radio. The 12 would have only given up 5 or 6 spots to come back in, so I believe they feel pretty good about it. Plus, they know they only have to run about 10 laps to the end of the stage and then tight off pit road, Jeff.
Yeah, Logano left his pit box, and the 54 was there of Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs had to lift to make all that work out.
Teammates at the front of this pack. 11 laps to go in stage 2.
Green, all rolling here.
Back to racing here in Martinsville. Christopher Bell doing some pushing right behind William Byron. The driver who has dominated today to the tune of 243 laps. He's been out in front of the 249 run. Incredible performance from the 24 team and driver.
For Bell, this is the closest he's been to Larson all day long. These two are in a heated points battle for that final spot, or it is the final spot if someone like Byron were to win the race. Larson bested him by 5 points in the first stage, and here they are door to door with 10 to go in the second.
They both had the same approach coming into today's Xfinity 500. We just have to beat the other. 20, I've got to beat the 5. 5, I've got to beat the 20. Simple as that, and here they are door to door in the closing laps of stage 2.
These two have been racing each other for forever. Before they got here, dirt track racing around the country. They know each other well. They love to compete against each other. A ton of respect. Chase Elliott nowhere to go.
Great view from the Napa on board. Look how tight it is between Larson and Bell.
I think if it was later in the race, the 9 would try to get a little bit of a diamond in a run and try to look 3 wide. I think at this point in the race, Jeff, he's totally fine just following this battle.
Yeah, he's not going to push that issue right now, I don't think.
Bottom box are those who pitted during that last caution. All right, so now Larson has the slight advantage over Bell. Final 5 laps of this stage coming up.
Curb wrap, rears attached, 5 more.
Curb wrap. That just simply means put the left side tires right on that curb. Do not give anybody the bottom of the racetrack.
Your bottom. Inside, he's there. He's there.
Have a look at that bright green Grillo's Pickles, number 34 for Front Row Motorsports. Todd Gilliland runs in 5th at the moment, behind some of the biggest names in the sport. Awesome performance from that young driver. 2nd week in a row.
All the young drivers for that team are announced coming back next year. Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith.
The 9 is putting the heat to the 20 of Bell. Only about another mile to go, less than at this point. Can Bell hold off?
Oh, a little bit of contact there.
If you're Chase, you would love to pass the 20, help your teammate out with that point, but you really want to make an enemy along the way, so I think he would take it if he has a clean shot at it, but I think the 20 is going to get the job done.
And yet again, William Byron is able to stretch the advantage with 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank, half a mile, and he has got it. So, 2 stage wins for William Byron. 3rd time this year that he's swept the stages. Is today his day after 2 really rugged weekends for the driver of the 24? The question's going to be answered over a lengthy stage 3 when we come back. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Progressive, proud to help veteran-owned small businesses with its Keys to Progress program. Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. And by Safelite, the auto glass experts. 2 stages down, 1 to go in this elimination race, the Xfinity 500 here in Martinsville, to determine the final 4 who will race for a championship next weekend in Phoenix. It is a critical, it is a crucial stage to determine the outcome of this race. This man here doesn't need to win. His teammate ahead, who has dominated the day, does. The guy right behind him, Christopher Bell, is in a points race with Larson. There's so much going to unfold over the course of in excess of 230 odd laps for the 3rd and final stage.
So there you have it. Bell comes in a point above, Larson a point below after a couple stages. Where do they think? Listen, it's simple. They're 5 points apart, which is 5 positions on the racetrack. So we'll keep you updated as we go on where that goes. Here's your last pit lap. I'm waiting to see if the leaders all decide to pit. I think they have to. I think they would love to stay out because Blaney and the cars in the back are probably going to stay out. But here they all come in front of you, Kim.
And Chase reporting turning good on the car, just needs to get settled in. So looking for that rhythm that Martinsville demands for and fuel for Chase Elliott, Parker.
And Kyle Larson was asked, what does he need in the car? He said, clean air, and I know I'm not going to have that now. Just 4 tires for him, Dave.
Christopher Bell said, I've got to be tighter in and freer late exit. Actually, just the opposite on that, tighter late exit. So 4 tires here, Marty.
What a day for William Byron. Hit 2 stage wins. He's led all but 5 laps. Rudy Fugle told him, you're going to be in traffic here. Cars will stay out. You're going to be about 7th to 10th. Byron said, I want just a little bit more turn for traffic, but, quote, don't go crazy. Where does Byron cycle out with those who stayed out? We'll find out when it all sorts out off pit road, Lee.
He was able to stay ahead of his 2 Hendrick Motorsports teammates in Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. The 27-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, is today the day he locks himself in for a shot at a Cup Series championship.
Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. It's Elimination Sunday, and the field will be set for the championship 4 here today for next weekend at Phoenix. And the lineup is set for Powerball's $1 million drawing at NASCAR Championship Weekend. These 4 lottery players are headed to Phoenix Raceway, each with a shot at $1 million next Sunday. You've already met a couple of the finalists, including Francisco Rivas, who was the honorary starter for the Kansas Lottery 300, and Patricia Hockaday from the North Carolina Education Lottery, who got the ultimate behind-the-scenes tour at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now, it all comes down to Phoenix, where one of them will take home $1 million. Catch it live right here on NBC during pre-race coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship.
Remember that last year, seeing the winner's face?
Oh.
It's for real. It's a real $1 million.
I see Todd Smith on there. I think he was from Maine. I'm from Maine. Maybe Todd and I are related. I have to go down the lineage and see if there's some.
He's never heard of you.
Yeah. Get it up there, Stevie. 23 and me right now. Get it up there, Steve.
He's got friends he didn't even know he had.
Yeah. He wins out there in Phoenix. I'm like, Todd, buddy.
Hey, man, where you been?
All right, DJ, enough of the jokes. Let's get back to the business. And what do you see? Your crystal ball has been pretty good so far this weekend. What do you make of this third and final and most crucial stage?
Yeah, no jokes from here on in. You know, Ryan Blaney's done exactly as we kind of expected, that he would put himself in a position to at least do this. William Byron, if I didn't know better, I would think Jeff Gordon driving that car in the first two stages. That was just incredible. You watch the line that he takes, you can tell that he's learned a lot and talked to Jeff Gordon about how to get around here and be fast. So can he navigate this traffic? But this is going to be fascinating. And the battle between Larson, he's making it difficult for Christopher Bell today because he hadn't been outside the top 3 or 4 throughout this entire race.
The big question now is William Byron as good as we think he is back in traffic? Can he work his way up? He has a small tire advantage. Not huge, but a small tire advantage on the cars in front of him.
And I'll tell you,
I like
Steve,
the pick on the outside. Sorry, Jeff.
As a driver, I'm like, why are we in this spot? Like, you know, and not that you know, you're not questioning your crew chief, but at the same time, in the back of your mind, like, we've been dominating this race. How do we get on a strategy that's a little different than the guys that we're racing with? You got to kind of put that behind you. Right now, whatever happened, whatever reason you're in this spot, now you know the mission. You're in 6th. You have 230 laps to get it done to go win this race.
And to your point, Jeff, I think I would tell you, hey, there's 230 laps to go. We're going to have a green flag pit stop. I know 10-lap old tires doesn't seem bad, but if this runs 80 or 90 laps here, I don't want to be 10 laps older than everyone else when they get 50 or 60 laps on them.
Tyler Reddick in the Chumpa Casino Camry for 23.11 is going to start this third stage alongside Ryan Blaney. Here we go.
Reddick had 2 free passes to get this lead. Blaney started 31st. Who would have had these 2 guys leading this late in the race?
Look at Blaney on the outside down into turn 3. It's a new hairdo for Tyler Reddick. The mullet has officially gone. So maybe the new do will work wonders for him here at Martinsville, but he has got a fight on his hands with the defending race winner. Look at that launch off turn 2 from Ryan Blaney. Ford versus Toyota.
Behind him, you can see Byron. He could not get by Gibbs, so he just rolled in behind him. Hendrick cut him a little bit of slack there. Just respectful racing.
And finally, the 12 was able to clear the 45. And Blaney is clearly out in front. Hamlin, then Logano.
And Byron has some company with his teammate on the bottom right. Chase Elliott, that's his onboard. You see to the left, William Byron is where he's going to be. They're door to door. You mentioned the 24 conceding the spot to the 54, and the 9 kind of took advantage of that momentum.
Watch what Chase Elliott does right here. He enters right on the door, right? But then he uses a lot of racetrack in the middle. Now he turns down with good forward momentum on corner exit.
If you're Chase Elliott, who knows he has to win as well, you have to think that William Byron has led 260 laps, and this was one of your chances to get in front of your teammate. Now he's going to turn left, no dive bomb, he'll get back in line. All right, so now if you're Byron, you've kind of fended off a battle, settle in, you know you have a good car. More than enough time to pass these spots as Christopher Bell cannonballs his way in next to the 5.
That was with authority from the driver of the 20.
And now if you're Larson, if I'm Cliff Daniels, I'm like, all right, if that's where the 20 finishes, we're good. Just keep him on your front bumper the rest of the day. We're into the championship 4.
There's going to be so much of that over these closing 223 laps. Who is where? Where do I need to stay? What do I need to do? Update me.
Well, look at this. Something we haven't seen, shadows off the race cars. I only say that because concrete surfaces are so temperature sensitive when it comes to tire wear. So this has been overcast all day. Oh, you got a caution. Josh Perry, the 21, spun around. I was going to ask if maybe the sun coming out, Jeff, is going to change the way these cars drive.
Perry was 18th at the time of spinning. Stevie, you talk about temperature. 59 degrees, so it's been a cool day here in Virginia. Check this out.
3 wide once again. We rarely see it work.
Combo shot.
Second time in a row that Berry was the victim of a combo shot, though. Here it is from Bubba Wallace's view.
It's not what the Wood brothers wanted to see. Their 21 car spun around up against the wall. They had a big celebration this week in Stewart. A lot of their former drivers, one of them being Dale Jarrett, was there.
Well, this 23 who we're on board with and that 6 of Brad Keselowski are racing for the free pass. So this is the same situation over again. We will see how NASCAR looks at this situation. It would be either the 6 or the 23, whoever scored the highest.
There will be no free pass on that one. That one's much easier called than the one before.
That's kind of uncanny, though, to have it happen twice.
Welcome to Martinsville.
it might be a third or fourth.
Yeah, welcome to Martinsville. You know, speed is amazing when you go to Michigan, Daytona, Talladega, but I think the beauty of the NASCAR schedule is the variety, and I think that's what I love about this, is as a crew chief, I can watch the car work in the middle of the corner. I can imagine the suspension and how it's affecting the tires, and as a race fan, they come here because middle of the corner speeds are 60 or 65 miles an hour. So I think there's just this acceptable level of contact and aggression due to the lower speeds. And man, it's been packing this place for years. It packed it again today. What a crowd.
I would also add that it's late in the year and everybody's a little tired, a little frustrated. The guys that aren't in the position they expected to be, right? And you tend to not make great decisions this time of year. You get really aggressive trying to make something happen.
We've told you a couple of times throughout this race so far that Ryan Blaney is the 2-time and defending winner of this fall race here in Martinsville. Reflections back to 2023. And then last year, he worked hard. He had to work really hard for this one. And he was pumped. That gave him a berth to Phoenix, where he chased his teammate down. Unfortunately, came up 1 position shy of becoming a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. But today, for those of you just joining us, the driver of this 12 discount tire Ford started 31st and is now in the lead of this Xfinity 500. Here's the reason we're under caution. Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, and on the outside, Josh Berry. We'll go racing when we come back. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 1 internet price, 5 years guaranteed. There's the driver of the Xfinity Toyota Camry for 2311. Bubba Wallace, who was involved in that 3-car incident that brought out this most recent caution. Look at that. Isn't that an amazing shot?
I'm telling you.
Just amazing.
Campers and cars galore as far as you can see. This little half-mile paperclip been around here forever. The cars have changed, the strategies have changed, but I'm going to tell you, the racing here at Martinsville has kind of just continued from decade to decade. It's always been top notch.
All right, before we go back to racing, let's get some updates from pit road. Dave Burns, you're up first.
And the attitude of Christopher Bell has changed as they run right now. He is pushed out, so he's getting more aggressive, having given away points earlier today to Larson.
And
Parker.
Kyle Larson right now, the team has updated him at the end of each stage exactly where Christopher Bell is running. They've told him throughout this race where he's at, and obviously they've been ahead of him, so it's working in their favor so far.
Ready to go back to racing here. It is Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin, the 6-time winner on the outside there in that orange 11 at King's Hawaiian Toyota. Clear at the front for Ryan Blaney to get this third stage back underway. Tyler Reddick, Joey Logano, and Ty Gibbs and William Byron climbs off turn 2 pretty effectively. That drag race down to 3.
Important set of corners for William Byron back there in the third row as Blaney gets figured out between him and Hamlin. I think Byron really needs to try to cycle in front of that 54, not behind him.
Look what the 54 does, though. He runs him up the racetrack just a little bit. Nothing dirty about that. That's just short track racing. And that hurts the opportunity of this 24 to make that pass. See the 54 up the racetrack some?
Big lunge from Ryan Preece too, Jeff.
Yeah,
he gets by Larson.
He does. See, that gets the 24 just a little bit higher than he wants to be. There's not as much grip up there. The 45 is slow, and that's an opportunity for Byron. He's got to get to that 45 car, get to the outside of him. He's right there.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to do it. The 45, the oldest tires in the field by 6 or 7 more laps than these guys. There you go. That's what William Byron needs to do, is roll to that quarter panel of the 45, not give the 45 the lane on exit, Jeff.
There's no saving tire right here. You got to push your car as hard as you have to get this spot. There he's alongside. Get a good launch on corner exit.
Oh, I love what the 24 did there. A little bit high entry.
Oh, 45 is loose. Contact with the 24 of Byron. They both worked it out. But Reddick was hanging on to his car right there. And here comes Byron with a lot of forward momentum. Clears him.
Very effective.
I know it's a long way to go, 209 laps to go, but as a crew chief, those are the moments you remember that put yourself in position. If the 24 can get back up there, this restart and that exchange, Jeff, can be a big part of it.
That was huge, and sometimes you can't control it, right? Catching the 45 on old tires and being a get around him on the outside, that was a bit of a break. Now they're 3 wide and they're in turn 3.
Chase Elliott's going to do the same as what his teammate just did. Stay on that high line, goes right around the 45, goes around the 54 for the time being.
Chase Elliott, what a move.
Lovely stuff. You saw it with William Byron, and you saw rinse and repeat with the 9. Here comes Christopher Bell on the inside. Watch that 20.
Ty Gibbs smartly said, hey, I got a spot right here. Gonna get on the brakes hard, roll behind the 20, not give anybody else the inside. Big race yesterday for Ty Gibbs in the Xfinity Series. He's the car owner that won that race.
Circling the tie in points between Larson and Bell. The tiebreaker is the best finish of the round.
Some trouble right here for the 19 of Briscoe. Parker.
Yeah, he might be blowing up, guys. Engine issue here for the 19 of Chase Briscoe. Coming down to pit road.
Yeah, good time for it after the big win a week ago. The one of the 2 playoff drivers that could afford to have an issue today was the 19 of Briscoe. You hate this just for the momentum of what it does, but I will say an engine, you know, you could talk about what could have been, should have been. As a race team, you really don't have anything to do with the engines.
They wanted a good result to get into that mode, that championship winning mode. Here we go. Ryan Preece in the 60, Kyle Larson in the 5. Preece put a really slick move on Larson several laps ago, right there in turn 1 and 2. Larson's trying to repay it.
Well, I mentioned the 5 and the 20 being tied a minute ago, and the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker is the highest finished in the round. Currently, That is Kyle Larson's second place finish at Las Vegas is higher than where the 20 has finished. Now the 20 could finish second here today. So there's a lot going on, and it's all going to be settled here in the next 202 laps.
Larson's been in the top 3 or 4 all day long. Now he's back in 11th.
And Jeff, you and I have both been a part of this. It's like, okay, 3rd is great, 5th is great. You all of a sudden find yourself in 11th, and you're a little bit of quicksand. One little mistake, now you're 13th. Now you're 5 or 6 rows, and you just quickly lose the ability to kind of run your own race. You're back there swatting flies, trying to stay out of the mess.
I tell you what, this 9 car, Chase Elliott, he had an incredible run on William Byron on the exit of turn 2. Let's see if he tries it again. There he goes to the top of the racetrack.
Oh, I love
Watch
this.
him try to turn. Turns. Just doesn't have the momentum that time, but as the 20 gains on the 9, Chase Elliott will not be able to do that anymore. He cannot give the 20 to the bottom of the racetrack.
Leader Blaney must win. 2nd place Hamlin already advanced. 3rd place Joey Logano must win. 4th place Byron must win. 5th Elliott must win. Every year, Jeff, when they get to these positions, what did Bell tell you when you talked to him this week? I just assume somebody's going to win because they always find a way to do it.
Yeah, he said it just happens. And the quality of drivers that could win this race was so great that he just assumed it was going to happen. Christopher Bell with a move on Elliott. Chase Elliott makes his 2nd lane work really well. This is not going to be an easy pass.
And Byron now to the rear bumper of Logano. He's diving into the corner.
Yeah. You're seeing Byron on the attack, and so too Christopher Bell. Meanwhile, up out in front by more than half a second, Ryan Blaney. The first half of this season, 7 DNFs. It was a nightmare beginning to 2025. He's now in a position where he can race his way into the championship 4. No driver has had 7 DNFs in the first half of a season and then gone on to win the title since Darrell Waltrip back in 1982. Think about how great DW was here in Martinsville. That'd be something special for Blaney, but he's still got 196 laps to go before he gets that championship berth. It's tight between Logano, Byron, Elliott, and Bell. We'll watch that when we come back. The Xfinity 500 continues here live on NBC, part of the 25 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And this is it, folks. This is the decider. This is the elimination race. 6 drivers going for 2 remaining positions in the championship for next weekend.
This is a great battle right here at 24. Byron trying to get by Logano. Logano is unbelievably good about protecting his spot. William Byron is moving around the racetrack, trying to get by him. Had a good run on him a few laps ago. Joey was able to defend it.
Byron makes good lap time, but in the wrong spots. He's good on entry, good through the middle, but look on exit. Just doesn't, like the 22 just drives kind of, not away, but definitely doesn't allow the 24. Look, 24 closes into a half a car length. 24 turns the middle pretty good. Like right here, I would think it should accelerate to the rear bumper of the 22, but it just doesn't. Tells me Logano gets a really good drive off the corner.
Some of the lap times on corner entry, right? And that is great when you're by yourself, but there is passing lap time. There is running by yourself lap time. Look at the gain the 24 makes on the 22 on corner entry. But right there, this time he's got a good run.
There we go.
He's going to show the inside. He's going to show Logano he wants his spot. Logano says, hey, you got it.
Well,
I'll fight you later.
He saw how good the 24's been on entry. He's like, there's no reason to block. The guy can outbrake me.
We threw the question out there earlier, how good is the 24 going to be in traffic up against this faster traffic coming through after pitting off sequence from these guys that he's around now? Well, the answer is right there. Very effective. He's worked his way from 7th or 8th back to 3rd.
Now Rudy Fugle will get on that radio to William Byron. Congratulate him on the pass. He knows it was hard-earned. Take a breath.
Really good work there.
There you go. Really good work there. Clean air in front. Just take, like, don't overdrive it. You were overdriving to pass the 22 because you had to. Now, Jeff, go back from passing lap time to regular lap time. Let your stuff cool. Do what this 24 has done. And you look right away, rolling around the curb on entry and exit. Marks, Dale Jarrett said it. I was fortunate enough to win a race here with the guy. It looks a lot like Jeff Gordon behind the wheel because that is Jeff Gordon-esque. Make a pass and instantly get right back in his rhythm.
So, unfortunately, there is a retirement, and it's the racer who won last weekend and will race for a championship next weekend. That's Chase Briscoe. He's with Parker.
Right, Lee, he's out of his race car here after an engine issue. Chase, was there any indication that you were having an issue before it ultimately failed?
I have no idea what you just said so loud. Yeah, no indication. Just was running around there. We've been making our best push on the track a little bit better throughout the day, and felt really good about kind of where we were at. We were about to start fighting Larson there, and him and Bell were in a tight battle, and yeah, just went to upshift, and yeah, something happened. So yeah, not really sure, but unfortunate for sure. But yeah, we'll go on next week, and that's what's all about anyways.
Tough break for this 19 car, guys, but thankful for that win at Talladega.
Like you said, better this week than next week. Get it out of the way. Ryan Blaney leads by just under 2 seconds over Denny Hamlin. William Byron, Joey Logano.
The 12 now has caught the back of the field.
And now you talked about the messaging from the crew chief to the driver of this 24 car. Now, if I'm driving this car, I want to know, what is our pace to the leader, William Byron? I can see myself catching the 11. I can see that, but I need a little bit of information about Blaney. What is our speed? They've really been kind of matching each other. More times than not, Byron's just a little bit quicker. Where is the 12 a little better? What do I need to do different?
And I don't want you to burn your stuff up because traffic's going to bring the 12 back to us. Look, Blaney's great. He has the fast lap of the race already. So that point is currently in the bucket of the 12 car, that Xfinity fastest lap. He did it back on lap 241 in the 19-second bracket. So 19.95, which equates to about 94, almost 95 miles an hour. The question is, will that be the last time that lap is awarded? Because I could see these late restarts maybe having some faster laps involved.
I think the other thing too, Steve, is when you're racing this quality of car, you're not going to catch Denny Hamlin for second in one corner. It's going to take lap after lap after lap, and it's gaining an eighth of a car length, It's a little bit every lap. If you push too hard, you actually lose ground. So you just have to be aggressive, but you also have to understand that it's going to take some time to get back.
Look at this traffic that Ryan Blaney sees up ahead. So he not only caught Casey Mears and Cody Ware, but now he's got Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, AJ Allmendinger. There is a string of cars ahead of the race leader.
And you see on the pylon, Larson currently 2 points above Bell. Bell running 6, kind of right in the mix. We have 5 of Larson kind of running by himself out there and no real traffic around. We'll keep you updated on that.
That lap right there was a great example of how the 12 caught those guys at a bad spot. He couldn't really control it, but he lost almost 0.3 of a second in that one lap because of where he caught them.
What's that like as the race leader, Jeff, when you're juggling? Okay,
Wide open.
I'm controlling this. I'm keeping an eye in the mirror on Hamlin and those chasing, but I'm also managing my tires. I'm trying to weave my way through. How challenging is that?
Well, you have to understand what your situation is, how many laps are left. Still 173 laps left, right? So there's a sense of urgency, but not desperation. I got to get by this guy. I want to get by him quicker than the 11 and the 24 can get by lap traffic. The 35 might have an issue as well.
Yeah, he's been off the pace. He's had a struggle. Looked like with some braking issues earlier.
Yeah, he's pulling to the inside on the back stretch.
He's already multiple laps down.
In the garage.
So it sounds like day done for Riley Herbst. It's far from day done for Christopher Bell, Joey Logano, and Chase Elliott. It's on. Here comes Bell.
This opportunity happened because of that contact in the middle of 1 and 2. Want to go back and see what happened there. The 9's under the 22. Logano gets into the corner. Contact right there. Contact again, but that actually slows Logano down, and then Bell takes advantage of it.
I wonder if the 9. Let's just watch this.
Going higher, what's your low exit?
So he hits the 9, knocks the 9 loose, and then he's got to check up, and he lost all his momentum, and Bell's back there saying, thank you, appreciate it. Remember, the 22 is on a little bit older tire than these guys are.
Look at this for opportunistic. Window opens. Thank you very much.
Well, Jeff, you were talking earlier about how Blaney, could be frustrated for Byron to wonder how he got behind Blaney, and this is that moment where I'd be reminding the 24, look, we lost this track position because we're on a little bit fresher tire. It's only, 10 green flag laps or so, but 46 laps in this run. When we hit the lap 60 or 70, that 10-lap window is going to be a big difference.
William Byron runs third. There's Denny Hamlin immediately ahead. Guy who has dominated the day. He's still in the mix. You're watching images of Denny Hamlin's day over, and more worrying for the other Toyota drivers on track. This is the third Toyota in succession that has gone back to the garage area. Briscoe, and then the 35, and then Denny.
Yeah, the 11 running really, really good. You see the engine just lay down, smoke out the pipes, and this has been this concern, right? The 11 has a throttle issue at Talladega, a starter issue here. Now it blows up in the race. So you see the frustration for Denny Hamlin. He knows next week he has a chance to win his first championship. These mechanical gremlins have got to be top of mind for this 11 team heading into their championship thing. And for Toyota, as you just pointed out, Diffie, 3 engines in a 15 or 20 lap span cannot be a comforting feel for Bell, who's out there racing for his championship life.
Look at Denny. He's trying to provide some information. You know, is it possible that Toyota brought some engines here to see if they could make it, right? Make a little more horsepower. Do they have the reliability to take them to the Phoenix? Is that a possibility, Steve?
Well, you also got to remember that the 2 cars that ran here, you know, you can run a sealed engine. There's a lot of things you can do in the strategy, knowing that this race really, while momentum is real, you know, the 11 and the 19 didn't need this race to advance.
Well, and that opens up an opportunity too for William Byron. It gets the 11 out of the way. Speaking of that, let's have a look at the Toyota driver update, because who else is out there who is in contention? Well, none other than the 20 of Christopher Bell. Christopher runs in the 4th position at the moment.
And I'll be honest, I think if you're Denny Hamlin, you just thought today was a chance at race win number 61. Right, we keep talking about a championship, but Denny, remember that emotion when he won 60? And you know, 61 breaks that tie with Harvick, moves him up in the winning list. Like,
all right, here is Christopher Bell, top box, being chased by Ryan Preece. The RFK man has had a really good day today and is on the attack. He's not holding back. He's not racing for a championship. He's racing for a win. Trying to get the first win of this 2025 season for RFK, and he gets by Christopher Bell.
Preece is so good at this type of racetrack. Won so many modified races in the Northeast. A very, very good racer. I'm an old school racer. Can build his own race cars, sets them up, bolts them together.
Larson's got to start. I mean, I know he's currently 3 points to the good, but you know, he has to. Oh, that's a nice move. Crossover to the left side of the 22. Those older tires, as you pointed out, Jeff, really starting to show for Logano.
Yeah, he's not going well at all, but Blaney out front, he has the same laps on his tires, and he is not slowing at the pace that Logano is.
20 lap difference on their tires. Have a look at this between Ryan Blaney, John Hunter Nemechek. Big box. Tap, second tap, third, fourth.
That is aggressive.
You know what that is? That is, buddy, I don't have time for this. I am to the point of the season where perhaps this is a little aggressive, and the poor 99 for, I don't know, the 10th time has been sent up into the asphalt today. Yep, Blaney, these playoff drivers are driving with a little bit of chip on the shoulder's the wrong thing, just no patience, right? Like, I don't have time to be nice to all of you and accomplish what I need to do. If I'm ever going to use up a little goodwill, you're going to have to start doing it at this point in the year.
I tell you, this run right here is not working out well for Logano. He is losing spots. He's in 7th place.
While there is a pit stop required, we've only run 63 laps, 151 to go, so you really would love to get that thing another 30 laps. I think you could probably peel him off in pit early, but I just cannot do it at this point.
The other car that's starting to fall off a little bit is the 20 of Bell. So Bell is running in 5th place, and on older tires, the speed has come off of this race car a little bit. Larson behind him is running him down. Larson's got top 3 speed back in his car. He struggled early in this run.
All right, you ready to get entertained? Have a listen to this. Ryan Blaney may have gone from 31st to 1st, but things aren't happy in that cockpit with lapped traffic. Have a listen.
All clear, good job. Take care of it.
No, yeah, I'm fine. I just have 0 patience for these dudes, man.
0 patience, Stevie, exactly what you said.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fiery driver, but I thought he's done a really good job of kind of managing it. And it's the time of the year and the time of the race. He knows the 24 is a little better tires. He knows William Byron's led 260 laps, and he's the guy chasing him down, and his patience are thin.
0 patience is okay until that lack of patience ends up with a cut tire, a fender on the tire, that type of thing. So understanding your situation, a 1.4 second lead, knowing when to push it and when not is still important. 147 laps to go. Blaney's a fiery race car driver. He's aggressive. He'll tell you exactly what he's thinking.
And look at the gap. Blaney and Byron have really gapped themselves to Elliott. It's a 4.5 seconds back to Elliott, why Byron is inching in on race leader Blaney.
To a very good point. It's happening at 1/10 of a second at a time, but William Byron is shaving down that lead of Ryan Blaney's. We're talking championship for this 2025 Cup season. Ryan Blaney, who is a Cup champion, can get another shot if he wins here today. Kyle Larson is playing a more conservative points game. Christopher Bell playing a points game, but he needs to improve. He's in that fight with Larson and William Byron. He really needs to win. And he has led the most laps today. Tense times for these 4 drivers.
Blaney with the shot to the 3 car. He said no patience. He showed it right there. And William Byron has cut this lead to under a second.
0.7 of a second. The Valvoline onboard shows us Byron is on a charge. So that brings us to our credit ones to watch. Well, who do you like?
You can't come to Martinsville without watching the guy that's won the last 2 fall races at Martinsville. Ryan Blaney qualified outside the top 30, methodically worked his way through the field with a little bit of pit selection and pit choice on strategy. He cycled away to the lead, and he is using that front bumper to keep it with now 135 to go.
William Byron in this 24 car, he has cut this lead to under a second, has led 260 laps, has to win this race to advance to the championship 4. He's a regular season champion. He has 2 wins here. A third one would send him to Phoenix to possibly win a championship.
Can I go for a non-playoff driver just to mix it up a little bit? How about Ryan Preece? Look at the driver of the 60. He's won here in modifieds. He's yet to win a NASCAR Cup Series race. He turned 35 yesterday. Could be a big birthday present today.
And he's fast. That last lap was 2/10 faster than the leader, 3/10 faster than Byron. Now it is 4.5 seconds back, so he has some work to do, but there's still 133 laps to go in this race and a green flag pit stop. And when that green flag pit stop comes, could be a real determining factor. You have Joey Logano back there in 7th, kind of losing time. You wonder if he's not going to be aggressive. Paul Wolfe proved he's not afraid to just pit. He did it at the Roval. And then when does Blaney, Byron, Elliott, Larson, when do they start to kind of counter one another? Math would say you come in about, oh, I don't know, about 25 more laps. You'd be split about right down the middle. But remember, when you pit here under green, you are absolutely, without a doubt, going a lap down.
Dave Burns, what you got?
Denny Hamlin will race for a championship next weekend. He's out of this race today. Denny, what did you feel behind the wheel?
I felt like the car was coming to us. I know what you're asking, but I felt like we're in a good spot there. We just started to close back in on Blaney. Felt good about it. Got the track position we needed, and I don't know. Feel bad for King Swine. I'm not sure we finished a race so far with these guys, but man, hated for them. And yeah, I didn't feel anything. I just the engine was running and then not. No noises, no sounds, no indication, anything like that. It just I decelled into turn 1 and the engine just shut off, and that was it. So. They'll work on it, I guess, and we'll go try to get them next week.
How concerned are you about mechanical gremlins going into next week?
I mean, I'm obviously concerned, but there's obviously nothing I can do about it. So we're just going to have to live with it, and hopefully, we get lucky next week. And, I think we're just going to have to see how it goes. But, I'm confident on speed. We'll be good next week. Really confident in what this team's going to bring next week. And, we'll bring our best. Hopefully it lasts.
Thank you, Danny.
Not ideal, but quite a philosophical outlook. And here is the first of the front runners to pit. Here comes the 22 of Joey Logano.
Yeah, kind of expected. He was the one that was kind of losing the most time in a must-win. This is the time where if you have any more tricks, any more plays, any more Hail Marys, it's time to start slinging them against the wall and see what happens. So Paul Wolfe calls a 22 in. The 9 of Elliott follows, Kim.
That's right. He said I can get pretty good down low. I get off the turns well, just a little tight there, but it did get better throughout the run. 4 tires fuel, Marty.
Kim is starting to slip away from the defending champ, Joey Logano. He said it had wheel spin, felt like it was hopping on the left rear, and I had, quote, nothing left at the end of that run, Dave.
Can Christopher Bell get the adjustment that he needs? It'll be air pressure only just for a little bit on the 20 car. 4 tires here, Parker.
Kyle Larson also on pit road here. He's going to do 4 tires as well. They're also going to try and get this rubber out of the left front hood flap. You see it propped up right there, the left side of the car, just below the windshield. Once they drop the jack, 2 crew members to look in there and get it. They did, Marty.
Dominant early, William Byron trying to get the lead back. We'll see what happens through this green flag pit cycle. So calm on the radio for William Byron. You see Ryan Blaney leaving pit road as well. He said, from a balance standpoint, I don't need much. I just need the rears to last, Kim.
Ryan Blaney saying, I don't really have much for you, Jonathan. So no big handling issues, just the rears gone. At the end of that run, they'll take floor and fuel.
So while they're leaving at the different times, they're on different laps, if that makes any sense. The 24 is now back on the racetrack. The 12 of Blaney rolling down the front stretch pit road. Here, bottom box, Byron in the middle of 3 and 4.
Oh.
And the 43 spins in front of him. We'll see if this brings the yellow out. I think it's going to have to bring the yellow out. This is going to mix everything up. Currently still green. Let's see where this gets blended around. All right.
Now the yellow's out.
Now the yellow's out, and there is Blaney, and there is Byron. So we're going to have to see, because there were some cars that hadn't pitted. This is going to upset the entire world, right? You have Chastain, Gilliland, Barry, cars that have yet to come to pit road. So this is a very complicated scoring situation here at a short track with the length of pit road that we have. We'll let it cycle around a couple times and see, but let's see what happens for the yellow.
Eric Jones, the white and green 43 at the bottom. Contact with Bubba Wallace.
I'm not sure what happens right
so
there.
I think what happens is the 43 just comes off pit road.
Right.
He's on super low air pressure.
Wow.
Drives in the corner. The car doesn't make the grip he was expecting to. This is one of the things that will happen at this racetrack. When you're low on air pressure, look at the left front tire lockup. It just didn't turn, and then contact with the 23. That's what that was all about, just not having grip with cold tires on a cold day.
So we have a lot to figure out exactly. I believe that Blaney and Byron are both going to be on the lead lap, just the way this is scored. There's a lot of scoring rules, basically, on how you are scored relative start-finish line and pit out and where you are pitting. But we're in the middle of a pit cycle, so this will take a little bit for NASCAR just to determine who's where. What we do know is Ross Chastain is currently the leader of the race. He has yet to come to pit road. Behind him in second is Todd Gilliland in that bright green Gorillos machine back there in that 34. Great break for Todd Gilliland, running second, yet to pit. Josh Berry, if you can believe it, after everything we've seen with the 21 car, running third. Hendrick, we have to double check this one, because it says he was on pit road at 378, but it says he didn't change tires, so he may have rolled through. This one's going to have to take a little bit more explaining. We're going to have to get some more understanding of where the 2 car is. Blaney and Byron have both pitted to service their car, and they are on the lead lap. So a lot to unwind, but what you need to know is the race for the win between Blaney and Byron is going to still be high in temperature.
When the leaders pit, that will put a lot of cars back in the lead lap because they'll stay on the racetrack. So just be a little bit patient on this scoring.
Yeah, and that's why NASCAR hasn't opened pit road yet, because as I've done this my whole life, and I'm up here out of the mess, and I have a pretty good perspective, and I'm trying to figure it out. They want the crew chief to understand where you are in the running order before I open pit road. So I like running an extra lap or two to just get it all cleaned up.
You see they're holding the 2 car.
So he's...
Oh, the 2 had a speed.
So if
as well.
You can't save a lap by speeding. So basically, if the 2 of Hendrick was speeding in a scoring situation, they're going to hold him a lap, because you basically, the rule is you can't save a lap by speeding. They're going to take it back.
If that wasn't the rule, when you came down pit road and a caution came out, you would leave pit road running 100 miles per hour, right?
Correct.
That's dangerous.
Correct.
So that's why that rule is in place.
Oh, it's diff. There'll be a test later. We'll make a multiple choice. We'll make it easy.
Well, that was
always
a
guess
very
C.
long passage of sophisticated words to say this is a little bit of a mess.
That's what's that's what's called. We call this a Martinsville blended mess. Is what this is. This looks like Marty's hot dog all the way. Is what this is right here. So now they should open pit road, I imagine, this time, as long as they feel they got the running order correct.
It's a big break for some of these teams, though, by not pitting.
My credit 1-1 to watch is still running, Diff. How's yours doing, Jeff?
Oh, he's still there.
Okay, what happened to yours?
Mine
be just fine.
Is mine's the first car a lap down.
That's like the official announcer curse.
So.
And Christopher Bell was a big fan of Ryan Preece too there for a little bit.
Yeah. So we just got notified that pits are going to be open this time by.
So there you have it. Chastain, Gilliland, Berry will hit pit road. That will give the lead to Blaney and Byron. That was actually a great break for Blaney because Byron got stuck behind the spinning car. I do think Byron was going to cycle ahead of him. But now it's going to be Blaney and Byron that should take over the lead of this race. But what a break for Chastain, Todd Gilliland, and Josh Berry. These crew chiefs continuing to try to keep their cars in the mix, and they've done a great job of it. They get to come down a very empty, very quiet pit road with only 3 cars on it.
And credit to Gilliland, who has been in it all day long. He spoke about positive momentum. Great finish last weekend. 34 team goes to work, Dave.
And he really wanted to come in for adjustments because this car is the worst it's been all day. That's a quote of the driver. So loosen, tight in the corner, loose off. Marty.
Ross Chastain pits from the lead earlier in the race, Dave. They were down a lap, but Chastain able to get a little bit of a break here when that caution came out. So the car was free for much of that run, just a little bit tight at the end. So a decent change to help the front end of the run for Ross Chastain.
Yeah, so they'll allow now the lap down cars to come to pit road, which some will, but those are the ones that are probably multiple laps down, like the 3 of Austin Dillon, who's turning down there now. And then we're going to have a whole bunch of cars that'll wave around and get themselves back on the lead lap when we come back from commercial dip.
Here's the reason we're under caution. Eric Jones, big lockup into Bubba Wallace.
Now we got a feel for Daisy Dukes round.
Big weekend next weekend. There's just one to go, and all series on display in Phoenix. And there's the rundown for you.
Practice on Friday. I can't wait. I love an extended practice.
So pick the day, pick what you want to watch, because it is quite the menu, and it's all going to wrap up 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC for the NASCAR Cup Series Championship.
All right, so here we see all the cars. They're going to wave around to the pace car. All these cars are either getting back in the lead lap, or they're going to be 1 lap down or 2 laps down. You see the 2 of Hendrick. He is stopped.
So the 2 owes the field a lap, and that's what Hendrick is doing right here, which is unfortunate. That's a speeding penalty.
So 19 cars are going to take the wave around. So that's going to completely mix this field up.
All right, so that's going to put Blaney and Byron on the front row. They basically have fresh tires. And then Chastain, Gilliland, and Berry are your other lead lap cars. Now look, behind Berry, you're going to have a mixed bag of everybody. The next scored car is going to be Ryan Preece, who is the free pass. He's going to run inside the top 10, but be nowhere near the top 10 when he restarts. And then all the lap down cars, like the lead lap cars like Larson, for instance, and Elliott, they don't get to pull up. They have to start behind the lap down cars because, remember, they got the wave around. They were just gifted a lap. Yep. Gifted the opportunity to drive past the pace car. You can't have everything. So this is going to be a very, very messy start with agendas, tires, And if the rest of the field have the patience that Ryan Blaney has displayed, we are going to see a lot of bumper tag because everybody now knows with 112 to go, this could be the run to the finish.
So think about Larson and Bell. We've documented their point battle. They are dug deep in this field. I mean, they're showing.
They're on the 11th row.
They're 11th row running 10th and 11th, but they are in the middle of chaos.
Chaos is what we might be about to see. However, it's pretty clean up front with Ryan Blaney, William Byron, the two guys who have led the most laps today. Look at that start from Blaney. What a flyer. Back to green here in Martinsville. Racing for a berth in the championship 4. The top 2 on track, top 2 in the race. They want that opportunity to race for a championship next weekend.
Bottom of your screen, your onboard bottom left of Kyle Larson, bottom right, Christopher Bell looking ahead at Kyle Larson. Nose to tail on the racetrack.
William Byron with tons of pressure to the 12 of Blaney. Watch how fast this 24 rolls the middle of the corner, right there. A little bit of contact.
Just looking back at the 4th car in shot at Josh Berry in that 21 Wood Brothers Ford, for the things that have happened to him today, where he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time and he's been a victim of a couple of times, his fortune has drastically changed.
I would agree the same for Custer back there in the 41, right? Yeah. Running 6. We've seen him around a couple times.
William Byron has freedom to do whatever he wants. Nobody is on his rear bumper. You can see him trying to open up his entry a little bit. Stay out late. Not be as low as the 12, try to turn right there. Get a run on corner exit, but right now the 12 of Blaney can defend it.
Team Penske versus Hendrick Motorsports. Let's go for a ride with thanks to Valvoline.
Your man.
Meanwhile, back to this points race between the 5 and the 20 to try and get that position, that final position into the championship 4. It's power and credit at the moment, advantage to the 5 of Kyle Larson.
Yeah, these two are normally racing each other at the front of the field, and now they find themselves back here in a quagmire. And Logano, hey, don't forget about me. I still need to win, but there's races to go.
Let's continue that conversation about Kyle Larson, Parker.
Right, as we pointed out, with the caution coming out in the midst of that green flag cycle, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell were sort of the losers in all that, and Kyle and the team were trying to sort through exactly where they were supposed to be on the racetrack, as you were doing, Steve, as well, and they weren't exactly sure where they were supposed to be and who they were supposed to be ahead of. They sorted through it as we got a caution on the track.
77 of Carson Hocevar got spun around again. Now this will clean up all the confusion of the running order right here. This is a little bit of a fresh rinse for everyone. Now the question will be, what does everybody do? Right, you get 10 laps on your tires. Do you give up track position? There's 16 cars in the lead lap. I'm not sure everybody's going to do the same thing. I do not miss these decisions. Cliff Daniels right there, Jonathan Hassler, Adam Stevens, Paul Wolfe. They are dialed in. Let's see what happens. Daniel Suarez.
Oh, no. I mean, these two have all day long. There's some kind of problem with the 71. Yeah, there's some sort of an issue.
Future teammates at Spire next year.
Man, Christmas party's going to be great this year.
Yeah, but look at this. Yeah.
What is?
I think this. Go back and show that again. It started earlier. The 77 gets slow on the front straightaway. It ended up here, but something happened on the straight. Yeah, watch this. Watch the 77. On the bottom of the racetrack, look how much he slows. And now Suarez trying to dodge him. It makes contact. And then I think he thinks the 77 is having an issue, so he drives in there like Hocevar is going to give him the bottom.
There might be an off-season kumbaya at Spire. Come on, you guys. Let's all sit down and make sure we go into 2026 as good teammates. It's been an eventful day today between those two cars in particular. Here we go. Action on pit road. Wow. Last second decision from Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell waited, and when they knew Larson was staying out, they had got on a split strategy of the 5. I love that idea. You have to do something to find the points.
With 100 laps to go, no changes chassis-wise here. He will get 4 fresh Goodyear tires, a little bit of fuel as well going into the 20 car. Not unhappy with the car, but a strategy move here, Marty.
Joey Logano and Paul Wolfe were coming the entire time. They only had 4 cars behind them that were still on the lead lap. Paul Wolfe trying to throw a little bit of a Hail Mary here. We'll see if these fresher good tires pay off for Logano. Said the car just won't turn at the 1/3 mark of the corner.
Last minute decision for the 20 of Bell to come to pit road. He did get underneath the orange box, but man, good thing Bell saw him coming. Here's the wreck right here. The wreck that didn't have the 5 stays out, and the 20 pits. So split decision. I love the idea of the 20. Remember, here's the point decision. Bell, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? I'm committing either way. Looks so much calmer on board. Now I see how you drivers see it, Jeff.
What a sight and what a treat for these fans. What a treat for us at the Xfinity 500. All coming down to these closing 97 laps to determine who will go to Phoenix with a chance to race for a championship. Ryan Blaney, a 2-time winner in the fall. William Byron, a 2-time winner in the spring. They share that front row, and yet again, Blaney gets a brilliant restart. These two guys at the front know they need to win to get in to the championship 4. It's all on the line.
And if one of those two win, as you see in the points, that makes it a points battle between Larson and Bell.
Byron is letting Blaney know it. He is giving him a shot into the rear bumper each of the last 2 corners.
And then there's a cluster of non-playoff drivers who they just want to simply win, like Ross Chastain, like Josh Berry, like Todd Gilliland, like Ryan Preece, like Cole Custer. They're all there and in with a shot. Teammates are fighting hard a little further back too with Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson. They're scrambling with Cole Custer at the front. Whoa. Byron's hassling. Jones is in trouble.
Contacted with the right front tire. is pointing the wrong direction. Some sort of contact somewhere.
He is limping up the front stretch into turn 1.
He's going to be in the middle of the corner when the leaders get there, or is he going to get all the way around? No, he does a nice job of hustling it around and getting out of the way.
I tell you, William Byron has stepped up the intensity, and I think he needs to. He was faster than the 12 of Blaney the last run, but remember, Blaney had a little bit older tire than the 24 had, and Blaney was doing a really good job. I think right now, Rudy Fugle, the crew chief on this car, and the driver both know they're going to have to find a little bit of speed.
Further back, bottom box, Logano and Bell.
Yeah, that's for 14th and 15th, with his way too far back for Logano in a must win, and currently too far back for Bell, who needs points over Larson and running 9th.
This restart has not been good for that 20 car. He's lost 4 spots since this restart.
Several cars back from Logano. AJ Allmendinger and Zane Smith are just laying into each other. Corner after corner, contact after contact.
So how do you make this pass? If you're William Byron, you have 89 laps to get it done. What you're doing is you're trying to pay attention to what the 12 car does well and what it doesn't do well. And then you counter that of what your car does well. So the 12 all day long, Steve, has been right on that curve. Left side tires, on the curve, not giving the bottom up. So what are you gonna, how are you gonna make that pass? Watch a 12, exits low. Look how low he is. How in the world is William Byron ever going to be able to get underneath this 12 car? If I'm William Byron, that's what my concern is right now. I'm not seeing the 12 move. I'm seeing tons of grip with that car. I'm seeing he's able to maneuver it.
Straightaway, just FYI.
I'm also thinking that these tires have changed over the course of every run. So I hear everything you're seeing, Jeff, but I'm trying to tell him to be patient. That I think we're going to be better than him in the long run. So just keep the pressure on the 12.
Steve, there's only 86 laps left to go. It's a championship.
Oh, I know, but we have traffic coming, and we have all kinds of mess.
And in this race a year ago, Ryan Blaney moved Kyle Larson with 24 to go. Then with 15 to go, he moves Elliott for the lead. So are we going to see that late in this race at the hands of William Byron? Maybe doing it to the 12 instead of the other way around. Tell us more, Marty.
Kind of a debate between driver William Byron and crew chief Rudy Fugle. You heard part of that radio transmission. Rudy Fugle said, take it easy on the rear tires. We need them to live. William Byron said, I hear you, but I'm trying to push Blaney a little bit. And then Rudy said, I hear you, but listen, you're going to hit traffic at some point. We will get him at that point. I need these tires to live. There's 84 to go. Back off a little bit for me. Steve, you like that leadership from Rudy Fugle? Hey, reminding his driver there's a long way to go in this race.
Well, I like him giving the perspective of what's ahead, but, you know, at some point, the driver is the star for a reason. As a crew chief, as you see beating and banging on the bottom of the screen, you know, you can educate and remind your driver. But, you know, William Byron, he's got 286 starts with 15 wins. He's 27 years old. Jeff, you and I think of young William Byron because we've kind of covered his entire career, but he's not young William Byron anymore. This is a very mature, a very talented, a very respected race car driver, and only Rudy Fugle knows what switches to flip. That's the magic of that driver-crew chief pairing, and I'm confident Rudy knows what he thinks William needs, and William knows what he's hearing from his crew chief.
Think about how long that relationship goes back. They raced in the Truck Series together and had a ton of success, and when they teamed them up at Hendrick Motorsports together, ever since then, William Byron's career lit off in the Cup Series.
It's William's 8th year in succession at Hendrick Motorsports. It's his 286th start in Cup Series competition. There is no more young William Byron. It's the experienced William Byron.
Well, and Rudy's 173 starts are all with William, right? So he knows, they know each other very, very well. Now, on the other side of that, the guy he's chasing, the champion he's chasing, Ryan Blaney, right? 376 starts, 16 wins. The crew chief, Jonathan Hassler, was that crew chief that got that championship. So there's also that same sort of connection of these teams. And I would say the same for all 8 of the playoff cars. These guys get here over not just talent, but communication and teamwork.
You know, Blaney qualified poorly. Did not have any speed in qualifying, was decent in practice. Is this the reason, though? Look at the line he's running. Think about what he did in practice. This is what he did. He put the car on the curb, left side tires on the curb. We know there's a little bit of speed in using some racetrack, but if you can get your car to race like that, it is almost impossible to beat it, Kim.
And Jeff, you think about what he's been able to do here, has the best average finish of all drivers at Martinsville in the next-gen car. And Blaney told me something clicked for him here in 2017. He figured out what he needed to do to be competitive at Martinsville, specifically the timing as a driver that you needed this racetrack. Crew Chief Jonathan Hassler echoed that and said Blaney knows how to get the best out of the car when the track is the worst. Now, I did ask Hassler, if you find yourself out front in stage 3, what does that mean? He said, we for sure have a target on our back. We have to manage that, be smart, and understand that we have no friends when it comes to the closing laps of this race.
I'm going to take you back and show you something that's been going on for quite a few laps, and there's a couple of replays that involve Austin Cindric and Ty Gibbs. You're on board with Ty. Unsettle Cindric. And about 4 laps later, hello.
Remember me?
Christopher Bell's like, thank you.
Yeah. We talked a lot about what Blaney and William Byron was doing. Well, if you look at the pylon ramp, that 9 of Chase Elliott is now up to 5th, right on the rear bumper of the 21. And 74 laps is nowhere near too short of a run for a guy to come from behind. You mentioned Blaney's storm through the field last year that a lot of us just lost with all the other shenanigans going on out there. Just how great that closing run was for Blaney. Well, perhaps is that destined for the 9 car? Does he have that left in this 9 car in the closing 73 laps?
Plenty of time left. 72 to go, this time across the line. Ryan Blaney has now led for 149 laps. Closing 65 laps of the Xfinity 500 here live on NBC. Welcome back to Martinsville Speedway. It's a cool afternoon in the 50s, but it's going just perfectly if you're Ryan Blaney or Team Penske or the 12 team. So far, so good. And leading comfortably at the moment over William Byron. We're going to update all of the playoff drivers in contention in this final race of the round of 8 for you. Kim Kuhn, take it away.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney leading, and despite having won the last 2 fall Martinsville races, the team told me they have to approach it like they've never won the fall race before. That's because they didn't want to get complacent or think that the track will just come to their driver. In Blaney's mind, he had one job, to win the race. He said it's much easier than chasing points. The team saying their strength has always been stage 3 of this 500-lap race. Marty?
William Byron trying to track him down, and I want to emphasize the calm with which William Byron has spoken the entire day. And I go back to something he said earlier this year when he said, you know, kind of in a weird way on the 2014, it feels like we're the experienced ones now. Byron trying to make it all happen in the last 61 laps and make his 3rd straight championship for Kim.
Well, Marty, his teammate Chase Elliott, currently running in the 5th position. He's run top 5 pretty much all day, but haven't seen much more out of them than about a 5th place run. Right now, he said, Alan, I don't know what to complain about. So he's gotten the most out of the car. Right now, just up to the driver to make it work for these last 60 laps, Parker.
And Kim, for his teammate Kyle Larson, they ran most of this race in the top 5 until their day was flipped upside down with the caution in the green flag cycle. They fought back from that to currently run 7th right now. You know, Cliff Daniels, his crew chief this week, was asked about this team's readiness for going for a championship through that lull they had in the summer. He said, I think this team is as good as they've ever been, and Kyle and I both know we have unfinished business, and neither of us is happy with just one championship. They're in good position to go after another one, Marty.
Parker, with 59 to go, it's going to be a tall task for the defending champion, Joey Logano, to make it happen from here. He did restart 13th on those brand new tires, fell back to 15th. Now he's driven up to 10th. A moment ago, Coleman Presley radioed him, said, you are 10th. We're 2nd on our strategy. Trying to hope those fresh tires pay off at the end of the run, Dave.
Christopher Bell's crew has been tinkering on this Toyota all afternoon long. It is still not as fast as they need it to be. His time is running out to make it to his 3rd championship 4. See what he can do at the end here.
And the other 2 playoff drivers, the 2 drivers who are locked in already to the championship 4, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, out with mechanical issues. Meanwhile, it is on at the front. Look at this. Ryan Blaney now has Ricky Stenhouse just for a quick breath of fresh air from the intensifying pressure from William Byron. William has turned it up a notch.
If you're going to win at Martinsville, you have to be able to work lap traffic. It is an absolute must. That's when the handling of your car will be tested the most, because, Jeff, you have to be a little bit mobile, right? You have to be able to set those passes up and clear them. You can't waste time. And that's what William Byron's going to try to do, is just basically play a game of leapfrog. Just try to stay behind the 12 and hope he catches him in the wrong spot.
And as he saw Ryan Blaney get to the back end of this field, remember, Rudy, as crew chief, told him, that's the plan. Save me some tire, but when Blaney gets to other cars and starts lapping them, that's when we need to have good tires. So immediately William Byron tried to step up his game. The question I have, though, is he going to be able to have the speed to get by that 12? Because I just think the 12 looks really good right now.
He does, but it's a long 54 laps.
Oh, yeah.
If you're Ryan Blaney.
Top box, Rudy Fugel, crew chief of William Byron. Phenomenal relationship between these 2. The understanding, almost the unspoken word, too, between crew chief and driver.
43 laps on this run. Remember earlier in the race, around lap 60 is when we started to see tires start to run off a little bit. They have driven away from third. Almost 3 seconds.
Think about today, and Steve, you're involved in this intimately. Think about the legacy of the 24. It's not William Byron's fault, it's actually his honor to drive that 24. But the legacy of that is enormous with Jeff Gordon, the Hall of Famer, the 9-time Martinsville winner. And he got his 93rd and final win here. Think if William Byron can do something Jeff Gordon-esque this afternoon.
Yeah, 20 years ago this weekend, I was able to win my first ever race as a crew chief with Jeff Gordon behind the wheel of his 24. We held off a hard-charging Tony Stewart to do it, and Jeff made this 24 magic here at Martinsville. You mentioned it, his final win here, and I think that's what's make this so, you know, William Byron stepped into a car and a position that has to be a daunting task for anyone. And he's found his own kind of signature to do it. And now here he is at a track that Jeff made so famous, and he has won in the spring, but never figured it out in the fall. But Jeff, he told you this week it was going to be different. He knew what was in front of him. He knew he had to win.
So relaxed, right? I mean, for how young he is, just completely relaxed and understood the situation he was in.
What I like about both the 12 and the 24 is they just don't use up a lot of track. Like the 24 moves around, I think, trying to find a run. I don't think he has to. I think it's an option to run this second lane. And right now, the 24 is moving forward, though.
The one thing I have seen with the 12 car compared to earlier in the run, he doesn't leave as low on corner exit, especially off of turn 4, as he has been able to do. Let's see this lap. Look at the corner entry speed. Now watch this 12 car. Just not on the curve for as long. It's a small difference, but it is definitely different.
It's those rear tires that Rudy Fugle asked his driver to save. Watch right here. The 12 tries to get on the gas. A little bit of movement out of the back of the car.
But it's worse off of 4, and that doesn't surprise me. For some reason, the corners look the same, but this is where the grip starts to lose on the racetrack, more so than off of turn 2.
Jeff, there's a ton of traffic ahead of them. Put yourself in William Byron's shoes in this cockpit of the 24. What are you going to do to the 12?
The goal for me is I don't want contact, right? If I can pass him, I want to do it clean, because if I get by him and there's traffic, by hitting him, he can turn around and do the exact same thing, but he sees right there the advantage he has.
Is there an opportunity? He's going for it. William Byron on the inside, and he loosens up the 12 of Ryan Blaney and takes the race lead.
But the 12 is still there. The 12 is still close enough to return the favor.
It was an aggressive move. The 12 blocked. The 24 got into the curb, and basically there was not enough room for a race car. Now, can the 12 get close enough to make the same shot?
Watch this. Front stretch, turn 1. Ty Dillon on the outside, and William Byron says, I've led 260 laps today. I'm not going to be denied a win here. I want to go to the championship 4.
He had good run off of turn 4 right here. See the run? He had that forward momentum and he saw it.
I think if they're not underneath the 10, they go in there door to door. The 12 has to get next to the 10, and that boosts the 24 all the way to the curb.
But the 24 is going to get to lap traffic. When he gets to him, it is going to slow him down, and that is going to allow Blaney to get to his rear bumper. What does Blaney do?
Well, you said it before the pass happened. I don't think Byron went in there with the goal of hitting the 12, but he went in there okay with hitting the 12. If that was what it took, was contact, then he was all right. I believe the same is now opened up for the 12 car. I don't know if Blaney wants to hit him square in the rear bumper, but if he can dive to the inside and get next to his bumper cover or next to that left rear tire, that to me is exactly what the 24 just did.
And William Byron knows it, right?
He is running right now.
Look at that. Yeah. Blaney says, Michael McDowell, can you please get out of my way?
Oh, yeah.
I'm coming.
This is why this track is in the perfect spot in the playoffs. It allows drivers to find a level of aggression that's acceptable for good racing and putting on a great race.
39 laps to go to determine the championship 4. Kyle Larson is looking good as they run right now on points. The winner gets a spot. And at the moment, that would be William Byron. He came in 36 points below the cut line. And you hear drivers all the time, Jeff, say, I've just got to go and do what I do. We've got to execute as a team. Well, William Byron has done everything he possibly can. He won the pole position. He has led 266 laps. He's been out in front, he's been back in traffic, and he's now back in front. It has been an almost perfect day by the driver of the 24.
And what he's done an incredible job of right now is getting by lap traffic quickly, not allowing that 12 car to get to him. As soon as he gets to him, he's able to turn underneath him, get by him. The 12 of Blaney, we saw it. He wasn't able to hold the bottom of the racetrack as well as he was earlier in the race. Even right there, you see him leave the bottom. The rear of that car, Steve, is not as good as it once was.
Yeah, but this battle is far from over. You mentioned the traffic. Now the 3 and the 7 are going to look side by side. The 24 absolutely doesn't want to see that.
And the 3 is racing. Austin Dillon in that 3 car, he is racing to stay in the lead lap. He is the last car on the lead lap.
William Byron has to go to the school of Ryan Blaney, how he's dealt with the lap cars. It's been short and sweet.
Yep.
William Byron turned before he even got to the 3. He turned left, said, Austin, I'm going to take this spot. And Austin knows, they all pay attention. They know the battle that's going on right here. Austin Dillon recognized it and did not put up a huge battle.
Justin Haley's the next one on the list in the 7. 34 laps to go here in Martinsville.
I give Blaney credit. He is doing an amazing job of staying in touch with the 24, not letting a lap car get between them.
Just to paint the picture very clearly, second is not enough for Ryan Blaney. He's one of those who must win to go to Phoenix with a chance to race for a championship.
And he gassed up on the exit of 4. I thought he was going to get to the bumper of the 24. I think he's going to have his shot. I think somewhere in this accordion, he's going to get all the way to the bumper. What will Blaney choose to do?
Look at William Byron's eyes. Does he ever look in the mirror? Just completely focused in front of him. Look at this. Normally a driver would look in the mirror on the corner exit. He's just completely focused on what's happening in front of him.
He probably figures there's nothing he can do, right? The guy behind him, if he gets to the bumper, he gets to it. If the spotter doesn't give him anything to look at.
A lot of respect being shown to this race for the win.
As it should be. Yeah. You've had 34 and a half weeks to be one of these 2 cars. Now Blaney, though, has lost touch by 1 car. Now Suarez is in the middle. Blaney is going to have to try to, stay on the offense, because if the 24, this is what happens in traffic, is you kind of get separated.
Blaney has shown us at this very racetrack just 1 year ago, he is not afraid to move people up the track and out of the way for the victory. That could very well happen here over these closing 29 laps, but he's got to get closer to William Byron.
Listen, I thought Joey Logano summed it up the best I've heard of any driver in pre-race. When asked what he was willing to do, he said, I am willing to do whatever I'm okay with being done to me. And I think that's the driver code, right? So right now, William Byron knows that there was contact. The question is, if Blaney can get back to him, how much contact is he willing to kind of stomach or initiate? And I believe enough has been where it doesn't have to be the cleanest path. If he can get into his left rear bumper, I think you're going to see some pushing and some shoving.
But you remember earlier this year, Jeff, Joey Logano also told us when we questioned him, which driver do you race against week in, week out that you fear the most? He said, unfortunately, my teammate, the driver of the 12.
Speed. That is what both of these young superstars have, is they have speed. And now, as they've starting to gain years of experience, they are able to hook that up to experience, and that is what makes them both very, very dangerous.
Look at this front stretch for William Byron. He can't wait. Only 2 cars on it with 26 now laps to go. So while there's still some traffic, they've kind of got through one of the big chunks of it.
And let's remember, if this race were to end right now, which is a long way from it, William Byron races way in, and look at Larson and Bell. It becomes a point battle. Currently, Larson is ahead of Bell enough by 10 positions to get himself in.
71 laps on this green flag run, though. If we go 25 to the finish, it will tie the longest run today for 96 green flag laps. And everybody out there slipping and sliding, hot, worn out brakes. A caution could happen very easily at any point with any one of these drivers.
Larson wants none of that. Larson wants this thing to just finish just like it is.
I feel like Byron's going to say the same.
And if it does finish like it is, the championship 4 will be 2 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas with Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe and 2 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolets.
I said only 2 cars in front of William Byron, but now the 2 cars are side by side.
If it finishes as it is, it locks Team Penske out of the championship 4, the organization that's won the last 3 years in succession.
And let's be 100% square about it. Everyone is terrified to put a Penske car into Phoenix with a chance to win the championship. They have proven what they can do.
Well, Ryan Blaney, that win at New Hampshire in dominant fashion, made it Penske and him specifically probably the favorite going to Phoenix. But I will say that William Byron, who's currently leading this race, let's not forget, what he was able to accomplish. He's had some good runs this year, and I think people have to look at him. How can he run if he gets to Phoenix?
2-time Daytona 500 winner. He also won earlier this year in Iowa. in amongst the cornfields. There's now 20 laps left to determine who races for a championship. And at the moment, it's advantage William Byron.
Yeah, he's done a nice job of stretching this lead out now to about a second. That allows you to maybe just be a little more patient with a lap car. Now you can run one corner behind him. I will say, after everything that went down here last year, it's refreshing to see people racing all over the racetrack. Byron and Blaney solving it between one another. Larson and Bell racing each other. Although I will say Bell has found a little bit of pace here lately. He's still got 8 points to make up, but he is running 10. Oh, we got a car around. That's a 77 of Hocevar.
Caution out.
Some people love this, and some people hated it. William Byron did not want to see this. Larson did not want to see this. On the other hand, Blaney and Bell, it may be exactly what they needed.
Now, the good news is, I think with the tire that we have here today and as much grip as these cars lost, the question to come to pit road is absolutely a must. Will anybody try 2 tires? I don't think it worked. It didn't work for the 71. I think it's 4 tires and 4 tires only. And when you said some people love this, we showed a pit crew member. If you don't love this moment, you're in the wrong job, because this is the kicker mentality. It's your time to shine. You're going to have this opportunity. This is what we're going to see next week, right? We've seen championships decided on pit road. Today, we can see who goes to the championship 4 decided on pit road.
Here's what happened to Carson Hocevar. Contact from behind, and around goes the 77.
McDowell, I believe, behind him.
I mean, I feel like
And I tell you what, I don't know what's Spires. We got a lot going on.
Land of free spins.
So this is game on. It is game on to the max.
You mentioned a pit crew, Steve. The driver has to give the pit crew his best opportunity also. He has to hit his marks when he gets in the pit box. He cannot speed on pit road. You have to maximize your speed, but not go over that speed limit. If you miss your marks in your pit box by a few feet, it makes the crew chief's job extremely difficult.
Remember, pole sitter William Byron, pit box 1. Big advantage at this moment right here. Look at Blaney, though, right on his bumper, closing the gap. Blaney's got to peel off first. He's down here in the middle of 3 and 4. Hard left for the 12. He's looking for his stall. Kim, Blaney on pit road.
A couple laps before that caution, he said he had no rears left, so he will welcome fresh tires. It was code blue, which apparently means 4 fresh Goodyear tires for Ryan Blaney, Parker.
Kyle Larson is not excited about this caution, upset about it coming out. Obviously, 4 tires for him. They were in a good position, 8 points above the cut line, Dave.
Christopher Bell running 10th. Free up my entry. It's all entry. 4 tires here, Marty.
William Byron told Rudy Fugle, nothing new with the handling. Let's leave it alone. Don't make any changes. The 24 pit crew has not lost a spot on pit road all day long. Can they deliver on this final stop of the day? They do indeed. Hold serve here on pit road.
I will repeat, it is game on when we come back to finish off this last round in the round of 8 and determine the championship 4. Late race caution. Here is the cause. It sets up for a gripping race to the finish. What a setup. What a finish. And how will it unfold? William Byron has chosen the inside line, and he's got Ryan Blaney to his right. When they come to the line, it will be 11 laps to determine who's going to the championship 4.
William Byron's job is to leave the restart zone at least a car length ahead of that 12 car Blaney. Blaney's job is to not let that happen. If Blaney can enter the corner alongside the 24, he can put his left side door on the 24 right side door, pinch him down, not let him get a good exit, and beat him off the corner.
And remember, new winner, it's going to be a points battle between the 5 and the 20 of Blaney, who are only 2 rows apart.
This is it. Lights are on here in Martinsville, and they're racing to the end with 11 to go. Good restart, William Byron.
A great restart by Blaney, though. But Byron's able to beat him to the corner.
Wow, look at that launch off turn 2. William Byron, Ryan Blaney. Ross Chastain is the next one, but he's not one of those cars in contention to go to the championship 4.
Larson also single file back there in 5th. They shouldn't catch lap traffic with only 10 laps. It should be clean racing. It's going to be solved between the front 2.
Don't discount the 9. If something happens with 1st and 2nd or 3rd, Chase Elliott's sitting there rubbing his hands together saying, yep, give me an invitation to Phoenix.
Good adjustment by this 24 car. I feel like that 12 car for most of the day has had a little more takeoff speed, but right now Byron's able to drive away from him.
Frustratingly for Ryan Blaney, he is not close enough to William Byron. The laps are ticking by, 8 to go.
Same frustration for the 20 of Bell, 7 points behind. You see Larson bottom left, Bell bottom right, Bell back in 7th. He just can't seem to break free.
Kyle Larson will race for a championship if they stay as they are right now. He's 7 points to the good, 7 laps to go. William Byron has never led this many laps at any track he has ever raced at. What a performance on a day when he needed to deliver the most. The last 2 races have been crushing. He crashed out in spectacular fashion. Not his fault. It was an awkward incident in Las Vegas. Last week he got tagged with the finish line in sight and saw dozens of drivers go flying by, and he lost so many positions. Today he started from the pole, and in one more lap he will have led 300 laps today at Martinsville in an epic performance.
Blaney is getting everything he can out of this race car. Both of them are.
All right, so Ryan Blaney's been able to pull away a little bit from Ross Chastain. The gap from him to the race leader is just half a second. Blaney is a little bit closer, but the laps are running out. 3.5 laps remain. Is there anything that number 12 Ford for Team Penske can do?
That last lap was definitely advantage Blaney. I don't know if it's enough, but he is faster. Will it work? The 24 we know has short run speed. He sat on the pole. He was able to do it. The 9 has sent the 1 out of the way. Chase knows he has to be there. If the 12 can get to the 24, the 9 wants to be the next car in line.
Great point. Game on. 2 to go. There's 1 mile left before we're in championship mode. What a contrast from these 2 guys. One started on the pole, one started in 31st. And they're both racing for the win. They're both chasing a championship spot. 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank. And what a performance from the 24 and the 12. They've been in a league of their own. Well, William Byron has won 2 Daytona 500s. He's going to put today right up there with them. William Byron is going to Phoenix and has a chance to race for the championship. Fantastic.
Oh, yeah, boys. Hell yeah, William. Great freaking job. I'm so proud of all of you. There's a plan. So he did it. Thank you, guys.
He did everything he needed to do. It's his 3rd win at Martinsville, but it's his most important one. And his teammate from Hendrick Motorsports
Great job, HMS. 2 cars through. Great job.
Kyle Larson's got a shot to become a 2-time champion.
What a group we have. And what a performance by this 27-year-old. Coming in with a must win.
Can't do any more. Pole position, 304 laps led, and victory, and a championship berth. Rudy Fugle said it, we had a plan.
Yeah,
you stuck to it.
You framed it so nicely of just what this team has dealt with, right? Because they had winning speed in Las Vegas when they had that accident. They were so close last week in Talladega, getting wrecked in the last lap and giving up those points. Could have been easy to let it emotionally get you down. Look at the smile. You start to see the excitement on the face of William Byron.
Crowd got treated to a little extra there.
Yeah, yeah. Front stretch is the victory lane. NASCAR said, hey, can you move your car a little bit so we can set the stage up? William was like, I could celebrate anywhere.
This track means so much to William Byron personally. His dad, Bill, and mom, Dana, brought him here for his very first Cup race at 8 years old. Tony Stewart won that day, but today William Byron uses Martinsville to put himself in his 3rd straight championship four. It means so much to him personally. It means so much to the Hendrick Motorsports family as well. William, could you pick a better spot for your first ever walk-off win?
No, damn, I got a lot to say. Things have a way of working out, and you know, God really tests your resilience a lot of times, and we've been tested, and just unbelievable. I'm out of breath. Thank you, fans, for coming out. Badass crowd. I watched my first NASCAR race up there just before start-finish line, and man, I am just so thankful, excited to see my family and just celebrate this one. We obviously go to Phoenix and just go try to kick ass there.
You mentioned all that you have been through and this team has been through, and you and I have talked about it. These playoffs have been frustrating for you guys. Have you ever been through more emotional swings in 10 weeks to get to this point?
No, I mean, you just work so hard. All these guys work so hard, and you put everything into Sundays, and sometimes you don't get anything in return, and that's been the last couple weeks, and honestly throughout the year we had some close calls, but yes, sometimes life is that way, but you just got to keep being resilient, and we were, and just feels damn good.
Lee, you mentioned it. He's won 2 Daytona 500s, but this one to be in the championship four in front of this crowd, this one means something.
Imagine coming here as a kid and then winning. It happened to our own Jeff Burton. And now today, it's William Byron's turn with much bigger rewards. That reward is he gets not only to race for another win, he gets to race for the honor and the privilege of being a Cup Series champion. We've got a whole lot more coming up on the Progressive post-race show. Need to hear from those not necessarily celebrating, like Ryan Blaney, who chased Byron home. This was the decisive move. William Byron said, I want it more. I'm going to come and get it. And he did, dominating the race today, leading more than 300 laps from the pole position to book himself and Hendrick Motorsports into the NASCAR Cup Series Championship 4 next weekend in Phoenix. A whole lot more to talk about.
We are the ones at the top of the mountain, climbed all the way up and never looked down. If the road wasn't rough, we might not have found the blood and some guts and thousands of hours. We welcome you now to our arena. If you don't know right now, it's hard to beat us. You can tell by our demeanor how hard we leaning. You will remember when you see it in lights. We are the champions. We are the champions. We will fight through the pain. We'll be legends tonight. We are the champions. We are the champions.
This copyrighted telecast may not be